And we're back!
Hey!
Episode 12. I am joined by my cohort, the Bryan Kern.
Howdy do.
And our guest this evening is the lovely and talented Austin Michael Belanger.
Woo!
Hello, everyone.
You will know him from hanging outside of the bus of your favorite touring rock band. Or maybe restringing a guitar. Maybe he's at Guitar Center. Someone sent him out on a run to do. Isn't that the worst to do on tour?
I don't even want to talk about that. It is actually, if anybody is in a band and sends anybody out to a crew member to go to Guitar Center, they don't value that crew member.
Oh, no.
They don't love you. Yeah, the one that goes to Guitar Center every day
That's
is
like
the weakest link.
I would rather like go get coffee and food for everyone than have to go to Guitar Center.
Oh, you heard it here first. That's real. Yeah.
So the touring member that has to go to Guitar Center is valued lower than like your lot lizard or rat.
For sure. Oh, lot lizards. I mean, that's a whole
That's not to
different.
say.
They
Yeah.
That's a
have
whole
their
different
place in
topic.
society.
Lot
But if you have
lizards
to
are
go to Guitar Center, I mean, just get ready for a bad day, probably.
especially now they make you fucking wait outside. You have to know what you're going in there. Like, bitch, I go into Guitar
Oh,
Center.
I haven't even
play
tried
guitars.
since then.
I go to Guitar Center to play on shit. You're telling me I gotta go in and know what I want? Ew. What?
So I went to Guitar Center a couple weeks ago, just to walk around and pretend I'm in a band and look at light displays and say, yeah, that's the one we should use. But really, I'm not talking to anyone.
I've seen that in a video before.
Yeah, that's me. And the sons of bitches made me wear a goddamn mask when I went in there. And I said, you're not going to infringe on my rights. I'm going in here and I'm coughing on
Oh my
everything.
god!
I picked up the drumsticks. Had that
Anyways.
shit down.
Where do you live again? Do you live in Texas?
Unfortunately,
Yes, he
I
does.
am in the great state of Texas.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought I remembered that right.
Yeah, we claim Austin, but it's like whatever, I'm
Okay.
probably from the suburbs or something whack.
Fair enough. Yeah, I claim Orlando, but I really don't live in Orlando at all.
Yo, Disney
It's just the
World
only
was
thing that
good.
anybody knows. In
I would
Florida.
just claim Disney World.
Yeah, basically.
I'd
gotta
like to
claim
live
the
in that
reference
big
spot.
castle they got.
That'd be. I've actually never been inside there. I don't think.
Most people haven't. I'd like, or I'd like to live in that giant golf ball that's filled with that terrible ride.
Epcot.
Yeah, that.
He answered you like you offended him. Epcot,
No,
motherfucker. It's Epcot. Dog.
I hate the Disney parks for the most part. To be honest with you.
Don't we all?
I love them. I just hate that golf ball.
Mm.
It has nothing to
Fair.
do with golf, and that pisses me off.
Fair. Yeah, I don't know who was the architect on that project.
Funny fun fact for you: Matt's family is actually on the waiting list to get into Club 33 at Disneyland in Anaheim, California. It's a pretty illustrious list to be on, and
Okay.
they are on it. So
Sick. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to.
we
hit them
can't
up.
afford the we can't afford the fee to get in, but in 10 years
We're
I'll
on the
worry about
list.
that. Yeah. It's
when
like,
someone
whatever.
dies, and
Yeah.
tragically can no longer go to the park, Matt might be able to take it over. So
That's
Every day I'm just praying some Disney goer dies in the park. Come on, Thunder Mountain, time for round 2.
round
Oh my
2, baby.
God. They've
Hey,
what is
so
it?
let's-
Splash Mountain. That always
Oh yeah,
gets shut
Splash
down?
Mountain is getting rethemed. I guess
Frog
we could,
Princess.
We could talk about
That's
that. Frog
probably
Frog
because there's been a
Princess?
dozen deaths
Yep.
on that ride.
No
on-
one's died on Splash
Yeah,
Mountain.
no, it
They
was all
died on
Thunder
the
Mountain.
Matterhorn. Wrong mountain.
Whatever.
I think it's because of the incredibly
Bottom
racist
line,
undertones in
Roller
the theme of the
coasters
story.
are more unsafe than airplanes.
I can,
but-
yeah, I'll concur to that.
But Splash Mountain is a hell of a lot safer than going to a protest with police brutality out there.
Also true.
Hey, yes, it is.
Okay, so I heard they were theming it like Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. You're saying Princess and the Frog? Because this is news to me.
I mean, same thing, right?
I mean,
It's the same storyline essentially.
Yeah, essentially same archetype, everything. You know,
happy
you have
ending.
your hero, you have your love story, you have the need for White Castle and the little crystals. It's just
The great story arc.
yeah.
That's it.
So this wouldn't be an official podcast episode if we didn't talk about our favorite son. That is the king of New York, Tekashi 6ix9ine. I'm sure AB is a huge fan of him. I see him tweeting about him all the time. Not a whole bunch of updates on the Tekashi front. He is still alive. He has not been shot at yet since getting out of jail.
Surprising,
He released
honestly.
a video of him playing with some puppies, literal puppies.
I saw that.
Yeah, it was adorable. How
Actually,
could you hate that,
upset me.
man? It upset you because it was so damn cute.
He's got to be. I don't know. There's some pretty rough people in the music industry, but he's up there.
He is my fucking hero, and if I was 16, I'd want to be just like him.
Rough in what way? Like he's actually tough or rough to listen to? Because it could go either way.
All of the negative ways.
Okay, cool, perfect. That's initially how I felt. I was an anti 6ix9ine person for the longest time, and
Yeah.
really all I admire is the hustle and the fact that he just talks about getting bags on bags with.
I
being
can
on house
admire
arrest.
that. The hustle is absolutely phenomenal. Like if you can literally take everything that he's been dealt with and just like still come out on top somehow, like more power to you, I suppose. But
Blicky with the sticky.
fuck you. So, that guy sucks.
Tekashi's the king of New York, and he's going to win a Grammy, and you're blasphemous. In other news of our weekly updates,
Cut off.
Belle Delphine, the queen, my princess. Not a whole lot going on her front besides that she's returned. She has that awesome Trolls parody video, and so far I've donated over $750 to her OnlyFans. So if you would like to donate to the GoFundMe for I Hate the Scene, it might help pay some of that off. My mom is really mad at me. I have not bought a Father's Day or a birthday gift for them. So.
Guys, listen, I know $750 to Belle Delphine is a lot, and yes, we are trying to get a GoFundMe going.
It really didn't give me that much, so it's not a lot.
Yeah, we need to support the artists out here, the starving artists, and she's.
It didn't give you that much.
I only saw half a tit, just half of one, not a full.
Was this $7.50 or 750?
Oh no, 750. Yes,
750,000.
Yeah, yeah. I no longer have a home. I'm looking for a studio next week.
That's fine. I got a room open.
So we discussed introducing a new segment to the show called "Controversial or Stupid," and. This is going to be a fun one. Basically, I have a statement that Bryan has either labeled controversial or stupid, and I think he has one for me as well. You're free to participate if you'd like. My statement, whether controversial or stupid, is you cannot protest if you've never listened to hip-hop. Controversial or stupid.
On you, Austin, what do you think? Is it controversial or is it stupid?
I don't think it's either.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is the fail of a segment.
Yeah, I don't think that's controversial. But yeah, I also don't think that's a stupid statement because, like, I could see where you would think that. But also, you know, if you, as far as like, you know, like punk rock and like you go, you know, back to the 80s and the 90s and stuff, like, yeah, I don't think that's either.
Okay. Cool.
I think it's because I got high listening to Public Enemy, and I really don't like punk music.
Fair. Oh, you'll like this. Check this out. Hold on.
Oh, here we go.
Dude. Here we go. First dime.
This is a great time for me to remind everyone that this terrible segment is brought to you by Chick-fil-A for all you Christian motherfuckers. Closed on Sundays.
Yeah, closed on Sundays, bitches. Go and repent.
So I was on the last Issues tour I did. We were in Lawrence, Kansas, and we found like this super random
Jayhawk
like oddity like thrift store. And I got these.
What in the hell?
Flavor Flav!
Is that supposed to be Chuck D on the right?
Yes, dude.
Oh my god, man.
How perfect.
Wow.
Yeah,
What are they just figurines?
Yeah, they're like little like vinyl like plastic figures.
God, imagine if they could speak.
So I got them for $10 for both of them.
That's
awesome.
It's a steal.
That's a steal.
I knew you'd like that.
Or a purchase.
That's sick as fuck. I love it. Yeah, wouldn't it have been like more Public Enemy if you just stole the shits? Like
Yes. The guy was super nice and he hooked it up, so you know.
That's your real statement though. You should have gone in, just jacked them and said, "Hey, this is what they would have wanted. This is
I
what
should
they
have
would
said that. Damn it.
Yeah. It's okay, man. Hey, we all lose sometimes. It's all right.
Brian, do you have a
Next time.
controversial or stupid statement for us this week?
Yeah, everything stupid, but no, you know what? Bands, yeah, I got one. But I'm also gonna shout the band out because their song's actually pretty good. But I think it's kind of cheesy when a band will have a name and then they name a song that's also the name of the band. That's weird. It's not like naming an album and then the single is named after the album. No.
Oh yeah.
We're naming a song off of our
that.
band name. Yeah, I don't jive with
That
it
would be
either.
like Cher having a song called Cher.
Exactly.
And then in the middle of the song saying, "We are Cher."
You know who's one person that would do that on the real? 6ix9ine.
He does, yeah.
He's also got his name all over his face.
He's gonna come out with a
Christina-
song called 6ix9ine. Tekashi 6ix9ine. If he doesn't already, I'm sure he does. There's probably a mixtape or some SoundCloud with that on there.
Rappers
for
don't
sure.
count because saying your name is just good PR.
Fair.
That is true. That is true.
I'm talking more like American Me in their intro when they say,
Yeah.
we're American Me. And it's like, wow, I feel like I just heard this song in a warehouse.
There's also
there's very few bands that could pull that off strategically.
the band that I believe has pulled it off because they do sound fairly good is this band called A Lost Game.
Okay.
And yes, the name of their song is called A Lost Game.
Okay.
And
Fail.
they're from Switzerland, and they're not that bad. They're actually really good. They released their song, I believe, earlier this week, so it wasn't too bad. I just a little cheesy, a little. Where does it fit? I don't see where it fits.
Borderline
I just don't
corny.
see- Yeah. I just don't like. It should just be a song name. Why is that your band name also?
I think that is stupid. I don't think that's controversial. I
Cool.
think that you should just
Thinking
come up
it's-
with another name for a song.
Yeah,
That's like Korn
exactly.
coming out and being like, hey, you guys like Korn? Like, what the
Check
fuck?
out this
Like,
new
that's a-
song.
Like, that's just a
Called
stupid
Korn.
thing to say.
Yeah, it's
Like-
totally fine to come out with like, an album that's just, even if it's just a
Self-titled.
self-titled, or if you come out with an album that's X and then you have a song called X, that's fine. Like, but having a song title that's your band name is peculiar.
It is.
I'd
Definitely.
respect it more if they had a self-titled album that was self-titled after some other band.
This is gonna sound really, really.
I don't think you
fucking
can do
weird.
that legally, but that would be great.
Probably not, right? This is gonna sound really weird, but they actually kind of sound like the lead singer sounds like Surge from System of a Down.
Okay.
Over like aggressive metalcore. So it's
Okay.
actually really
Great.
that's what kind of stuck
He's
with me.
always
And they're
been
from
one of my favorite vocalists.
they're from Switzerland, so it's interesting. It's not bad. I'm not mad at it, but I am mad at the fact that they did that. So it's okay.
Sounds.
I hate when you like a band and then they do something that really irritates you and you're like, come on, like
Oh,
Like,
Predator
bless
on
their
their
fans. I really hate when they do that.
I just said that. Predator on their fans, god damn it.
Yeah, like I especially hate when bands like say racist shit about their bus driver or
Yeah.
don't support
that's
Black
happened.
Lives
Or if
Matter.
you have a racist bus driver. That's
Oh
even
yeah,
worse.
racist bus drivers are
Racist bus
definitely
drivers.
yeah. Fuck them. Yeah.
That's
we all
even
drinking,
worse.
guys. Cheers. Appreciate you guys.
Cheers.
As always. Cheers. We got the coffee, the whiskey, and the
Yep.
beer here. What else we got, Matt? What else we got
I'm
on
drinking
tap?
orange juice.
Oh, okay.
Frothy orange juice.
Extra pulp.
In other news, overrated progressive post-hardcore band Slaves has decided that they're changing their name after this latest album. Is this long overdue? Should they have never named that in the first place? Or have you not given a fuck about this band since Johnny Craig left?
All of the above.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Um,
So you never watched The Voice and saw this new singer Matt on The Voice?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me neither, because I don't watch that fucking trash.
No, I don't watch
That's actually
television,
news
really.
to me, to be honest. I didn't know that he was actually on The Voice. But
Yeah, that
Look,
is news.
I'm not
I
gonna
also
lie.
actually didn't know that Johnny left the band or was kicked out or whatever.
Left, kicked out unceremoniously, had half the band fired and banned from Warped Tour, whatever you want to call it.
That dude is the worst.
not ironically after he did try selling a MacBook online. Just so for the
Yes.
record, this wasn't the scammy. He actually did try to sell a MacBook online and then
For
left the band
all the
shortly
bad
after.
shit that I've heard and known about Johnny and witnessed with my own eyes, I was actually told when that whole Warped Tour thing blew up, when Johnny got him kicked off a day, they came back and then the whole band aired out Warped Tour on stage and got them kicked off permanently.
Yep.
That I was told that the guitar player Alex was actually the worst dude in that band and way worse than Johnny. I haven't met the dude. I've talked shit to him on Facebook. It's like whatever. I didn't like those
I
exchanges.
don't know because I was on that Warped Tour, but I definitely kept to my pack.
Well, yeah, you don't want to
So I
associate with
can't-
Johnny and risk getting fired.
Yeah, I can say knowingly, like, Johnny's a horrible person. I've met him, I've known him for probably 10 years now, and he's always been the same guy. But I've never met, what was it, John? Is that what you-
Alex.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He
I'm
got
amazed.
kicked out the band too.
I'm amazed Johnny's actually surviving all this cancel culture. Like as crazy as it is, he's still just kind of like floating under the water.
He
a
always,
little bit.
I feel like because of Johnny, cancel culture is a thing. Like
That-
in
yeah.
this scene, like it's been going on with him for,
Forever.
All these bands getting canceled right now are kind of like cable and network TV shows getting canceled. Johnny is that rogue renegade YouTube video that's been kicked off the networks already.
He's
that
the Alex
it's like,
Jones.
You can't cancel him Because he's just doing the shit himself. Like
He's got
there's
his own
no
channel.
outlet to cancel him
Yes.
from.
Yes.
His own channel, his own shit. He's already been canceled enough to where he's impervious to cancellations. Like he's
That's what I
not
tell people all the
touched.
time. Like someone had told me on Twitter we should cancel Johnny Craig again. I think it's been long enough, and I'm like, I don't know if there's much
Can't do
more.
that.
Like if I was to go
Everybody
pick up
already
a-
knows. Like if
Yeah,
you're not
exactly.
if you're not already like not fucking with a person, then you're a lost cause. Like there's no more you can do. Like
I could
Exactly.
give you a story about Johnny Craig from last year. I could give you a story about Johnny Craig from 10 years ago. They're going to be the same shit. It's going to be the same dude, and it's going to be nothing new. So you don't need the specifics. You just know the type of dude he is from everything that's already out there. He has a glass ceiling. You know, that's what I told this person. I was like, why go after him? Like, one, Johnny personally has never done anything. He's always been super cool to me as far as granting interviews when he didn't really need to. So that was cool.
Sure.
But doesn't excuse a goddamn thing he's done. He just hasn't fucked me over. I'm also not a girl. And apparently most of his complaints are coming from girls that he's mistreated. So
yeah, and I've definitely seen the mistreatment in person, which is like horrifying to like witness and just kind of have to like stand there with like a group of 10 other band dudes.
So, fun fact, Johnny Craig was living in San Antonio, Texas for a little while. So now, because of our little scene and our clique of friends, we know a ton of girls that have dated Johnny, and none of them have anything nice to say about the guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't
find
imagine
that-
so.
But they'd still like to brag that they dated him. I find that
Of course,
odd.
of course.
There's a clout cloud they're hanging
Yeah.
on to somewhere.
That would be a red flag for me. Like, okay, well,
That's
why'd you date him? Did you not know he
insane.
was slinging fake MacBooks? Or
Yeah, yeah.
wasn't-
Like,
He
what was
wasn't even
the-
fake MacBooks. He was just stealing money. He was just stealing money from people. There was no nothing.
that blows
Okay, he was
my
selling
mind.
invisible MacBooks. Whatever you
It's
want to call it.
what's funny to me is like how insanely that resonated. Like that was a long time ago when
Yeah, like
that first
2011 or some
occurred,
shit. Yeah.
and like people still talk about that to the day.
When he
People
tried
still
doing it
give them
again,
attention.
he tried doing it again, and somebody had posted. I think the thing that made it around Twitter was somebody was like, "We're at this again, Johnny," and it was like 8
Oh,
years
he
later.
was actually trying to sell a MacBook.
He
I don't know
was.
if
He
it
was trying.
legit.
He was trying to, and he even said, "Ha ha ha! No joke. Once the heat dies off, if you're serious, let me know." Like he knew that
Yeah.
people were gonna give him
Yeah.
shit and razz him for this stupid thing, but he was legitimately out there trying to. If this does speak to anything, though, look at this. We were about
Like,
to
put
talk
that on
about
eBay,
slaves.
man. Like, come on.
Exactly. Like, come on, put a little bit of effort. Craigslist.
Seriously, there's
anything.
Facebook Market now. Come on.
Yeah, bro, let's get with the times. But hey, that shows the power because we were supposed to talk about slaves and we went off on Johnny Craig. So clearly, slaves doesn't fucking matter, right? We're over it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so look,
case
I
confirmed.
I wanted to hate them as much as the next guy just because of their history and like the shit going on. But like the bad seeds of that band have been removed. They're pretty much like building on the same style as before. The songs that they've released so far on iTunes are actually really good. They're really
Okay.
well put together hooks. I wanted to hate on it so bad because a friend of mine played it over and over and over. But there's some damn good songs. I think it's called "Wasted Youth" is the single.
okay.
Yeah.
Fucking killer. Yeah,
It
that
isn't-
new singer is really good.
It isn't bad. And I had this discussion earlier when we shared it on the Facebook. You know, I'm not mad the fact that they're changing their name. I think that it's probably relevant with what's going on, obviously, and they're making a good move there. But also, I think this is a time for them to probably step away from the older sound, right? They're probably not going to be playing a whole lot of Johnny Craig
Hopefully.
songs. They're
Yeah,
probably not going to
that's-
be playing a whole
yeah.
lot of the older stuff, especially if it is new band members. So cool. Start fresh, man. We
Yeah.
saw this with Us From Outside when they became Chasing Safety, and we've
Yep.
seen it with a couple other bands, you know? So all for them. Like if you're producing better music and you got a better image and a better brand altogether, beautiful.
Yeah, keep trying for sure. Yeah.
Do we
As
have
long-
any
yeah, you gotta get the
suggestions
bad
for
seeds
what
out.
they should name the band?
Are they nameless right now?
They're
No,
gonna
they're still
release it after
slaves
their
right
album.
now.
Oh,
the
but they're
next
they
album will
want
be
to
a new name.
rename? Okay. I don't even know.
I'm trying to think like
dang,
what's
yeah, let's play this game. Okay.
what-
I always
Screams-
told myself that if I were to start a band, it would just be called Side Project for whatever
Wow.
reason. So that would be pretty good for them.
maybe if you
Yeah.
devowel it and use like lead speak.
Yeah, and yeah, maybe.
Devalue it and use leet speak? Really?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, you can't just call it side project, bro. That's like being a rapper and not
can-
having a number in your name.
Mm.
You got to do that now.
I mean, you
Like
could just
that guy
like
Six Flags.
make some of the letters uppercase
You
and
could
lowercase.
spell it with a K.
It'd be
You
fine.
could spell it with project with a K.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
you could
you're
do
People
that,
do that.
yeah.
People do
cool.
that.
What are you,
New
Linkin
metal.
Park?
It'd be new. Yeah, it'd be new metal.
Or you
Your
could replace
project-
it with a B.
Oh, brazy. Yeah, real brazy, son.
Side project.
Side project.
Okay, so if Slaves was to go like gangster rap, they could just call it Babes or Blaves.
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 Yeah.
If they were gonna go new metal, what would you call them? Slave to
Blades.
me. What?
Slave to me.
Blades. We'll just keep going off of like slaves.
Slades.
So yeah, if they
Blades.
go metal, it would be Blades.
Oh yeah, it'd have to be. It'd have to be. Yeah. But what if they went like country?
Wow. I don't know. Blades does sound like a good name for an overrated metal band. So what
Yeah.
would be like an overrated like country act? Tumbleweed? I don't know.
Weeds.
Whiskey Flats.
Oh, that's a good one. That sounds
Yeah.
like a venue.
Whiskey Flats.
It's like Rascal
Yeah.
Flats, but
That's a
whiskey.
venue name in Tennessee, probably,
Well, if it's not, it is now.
or a bar club.
In other
Oh,
news, yeah,
shit.
fuck all that shit.
Onward.
Ah, shit.
Your boy Kid Cudi and Kanye West announced there's going to be a Kids
Yeah,
See Ghost
son.
animated series.
Yes,
I'm stoked for that. Are you a
Same.
Kanye fan? Do you like
Um,
Cudi?
I like both of them, and I think I'm like mostly stoked that Murakami's doing all the animation and artwork.
Mm.
A huge fan. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. I think
Where would I know him
Kid
from?
Cudi's been in the hiding for way too long.
Kid Cudi is so Kid See Ghost was my 2018 album of the year.
Sick.
So I'm a huge fan, and you know I'm wondering if this is gonna be it's an animated series, right?
Yeah.
And so is it gonna be geared? How's it gonna be geared? What are we gonna see? Are we
I don't
gonna
know.
see-
I think there will definitely be some comedy in it. There has to be.
right,
or else
right.
it would
We're probably gonna
be
get some
unwatchable.
trippy. Yeah, we're probably
Yeah,
gonna get some
definitely.
trippy
I
shit.
would assume very trippy with Murakami doing the artwork, and then with how Scott's mind works. I mean, we've all seen like the music he puts out, so he's crazy. But and
Yeah,
Kanye,
Cudi's a
I
weirdo
mean,
for sure.
Kanye's probably got a crazy palette to bring. Like,
Did anybody ever follow Kid Cudi's little like metal project that he did for a while?
oh yeah, and like the indie stuff that he did.
Yeah.
I like all of it, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
Didn't he have a project called Wizard?
I don't know.
He might have, and that was the metal
Possible.
project. Yeah, WIZRD. Yeah, it was
Something
Wizard.
Okay.
stupid like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got high and thought that him and Wiz Khalifa had a project together.
Wiz Kid.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising.
Wiz Khalifa. In other rap news, your boy Eminem had an unreleased verse from Conway the Machine's song "Bang." This unreleased verse leaked out, and it's him dissing Joe Budden, Diddy's Revolt TV network, and of course Machine Gun Kelly. Because when you're
Sick.
dating Megan Fox, you have to still take an L somewhere.
That's fine.
Have you heard this song, and did you like the diss?
No, I haven't heard it yet, but I'm very intrigued because I love anything that disses Joe Budden.
Oh, I like Joe Budden, but he is an easy target.
Yes,
Some
Yeah,
would say the
he's
easiest.
just too
and
serious.
I honestly, I think it's just hilarious to me, honestly, that he just takes so much heat from younger rappers.
I'll never forget when Joe Budden had a song called Def Jam Diss, and within a week, Def Jam released him from his contract.
Big yikes.
Yeah,
Big yikes. Yeah.
Good times. The song is dope. There's the original, or I guess this is the original version, but the version that came out already is featured on Conway the Machine's album. It's Bang featuring Eminem and West Side Gun and Benny the Butcher.
I'm gonna look
Dope
it
as
up.
fuck. Yeah, it's a pretty
Save it.
hard track. The only other rap news I got is some rather sad news. Rapper Huey, famous for the song Pop,
I
Lock, and
know.
Drop It, was shot and killed in St. Louis, Missouri. He was 31. So
Yeah,
a little letter out for your boy.
Yeah, that's horrifying. Yeah, I think I was in like 9th grade when that song came out.
I thought that was a hard beat, so like when I was doing my whole rapping thing back then, I definitely
was-
like murdered that beat. But there were some whack lines in it. Toot that thing up,
for
mommy.
sure. I mean, all like early mid 2000s hip hop was
At least the
fairly
popular
corny.
shit. Yeah.
I mean, like Chameleonaire and like all of that. Like, I
Come
mean,
military man.
yeah, we all bumped it, but
I think
There were
what-
some
what-
gems in there.
There were, and for Huey specifically, I mean, he kind of blew up like right around like the MySpace, Facebook era, right? Like
Yeah,
2007 or
definitely.
2008. So
Transition.
that was like an anthem, so to speak, for the kids that were into the social media, and everybody remembers the videos over the SpongeBob shit,
Yep.
and he was a part of that whole mantra. So it hits in a certain way, right? I was never really a Huey fan, but who doesn't know Pop Lock and
course.
Drop It, right?
Yeah,
Who doesn't,
definitely.
who fucking doesn't remember that and Soulja Boy and all this other shit that came out, and like those were the anthems of like social media
That
back
was
in the day.
it.
It was and so of course you're gonna fucking feel away, and it sucks. 31 shot, like that just adds to the
That's
nonsense.
crazy. I didn't know that. That means that he was like 19
He
when
was
Pop
20.
Lock and Drop It came
Yeah,
out.
he was
Yeah.
20 when a lot of the success hit. He was like
Okay.
20, 21. Yeah.
When
That's
they were
awesome.
in this
crazy.
mid 2000s rap era, you remember the Franchise Boys? They had that
course.
White Tee song.
Yep.
Okay, so one of them got shot and killed. You got Hurricane Chris, who did the song "Hey Baby."
Yep.
He's
I
now
remember
wanted,
that.
he's in charged with murder, so he's going to prison.
And who was it? Princess Princess from Crime Mob was shot and killed.
Yep, Crime Mob. They Nook if you buck, boy.
Yep.
That shit was hard. A lot of our mid 2000s rap stars are like, if their careers ain't dead and gone, they sure are. Like, remember Jaquan? Remember Tipsy? Where the
I
hell
was
did
gonna
he
say,
go?
speaking of, who was it? Ying Yang Twins recently put out a new album, and it was horrible.
What a shock.
So bad.
Were you expecting anything different?
It's like all of the beats that they never got to use.
Oh, so you got like old MIDI beats from like 2002. Oh
then, like,
no.
Trying to rap relevantly.
Oh no.
Unreleased Little John B
It's
sides.
unfortunate, to be
Still
honest.
talking about FUBU and fucking whatever else is going on.
Yeah,
Fila.
Spinners. Okay, well, hold on. Pump the fucking brakes, bro.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, of spinners, dude. That is a very specific era. That is like 2007 and 8, and that is it.
Yeah, yep.
And it's still very much alive in South Florida.
Oh,
Yeah, shouts to South Florida. Yeah, if you're riding
Oh,
around
far
South
out.
Florida and you got some spinners or some bows on your shit,
Yeah.
definitely rob a convenience store and shout out your boys.
Yep.
In related news, Pokemon prequel TV series. Does this have you interested? Pikachu's life before Ash as Pichu.
Nope. Fuck anything outside the original 151.
No, that can't
I
work.
said it.
That literally can't work.
You don't like the prequel?
No, in Pokemon theory, that's incest.
What?
Well, okay, you're gonna have to explain because I'm
Hold
lost.
up.
Okay,
Are we getting
time out.
canceled? Are we getting canceled?
Yeah,
Are we
we're
getting
canceled.
If
Are we
you're
canceled?
talking like real technical in
Go.
Pokemon theory,
Lay it on us.
Pichu.
Lay us on it, you theorist here.
I mean, I guess it could work, but like Pichu is like the first evolution before you get to Pikachu. So I don't. I guess I would have to look up on that. I don't know. I'm a big Pokemon fan, so I don't know how that would really work.
How do you call
So-
yourself a fan, sir, if you support anything after the first 151? Huh?
I
How do you
mean-
call yourself a fan?
Because they look awesome.
Really? I thought they looked cartoonish. That's what
Some
got
of
me
them,
about
some of them are like they just like filled in the blanks, but
I know, and I'm like, really?
they nailed it.
Mm. Oh, Matt's disconnected. He's what are you doing,
No,
Matt?
I'm not. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
getting more liquor.
Half, half,
There you
of,
go.
half of them are color by number, and then the other half are like somebody actually tried.
The thing that I really
Okay.
like about Pokemon in 2020 is that you find people your age and a certain generation, and they all guaranteed went through a Pokemon phase.
Oh,
and
hands
it
down.
was a big deal. It was like, for the older crowd, the guys that are washed like me and Brian, Power Rangers was a phase when we were
I
kids.
love Power
Oh,
Rangers.
Pokemon too. Pokemon, I had a
Yeah.
Pokemon phase, bro.
I'm not
I
saying
dabbled.
okay, we're not Pokemon
That was kinda-
deniers
I feel
here.
like
We
that was
know
all
you had a
in the
Pokemon
same
phase,
realm.
bro.
It was like all on the same like TV stations. It was like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh,
Look, I'm not
Power
gonna get
Rangers.
I'm not
They
going to
were,
get
like,
into the
all
story
together.
about how me and Brian had a Barbie phase when we were juniors in high school, but we definitely had a Pokemon phase when we were younger. And if you knew about the card game, you should know that buying the Venusaur packs ensure that you get better cards, and that's just something I figured out.
There you go.
I've noticed people on the internet in present time are really opinionated about Pokemon. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like really like there's a girl on TikTok, her name's Emma, her avatar's a Gengar. I'm trying to get her on the show, and she
Okay.
is very opinionated on Pokemon, and it blows my mind how someone has such strong beliefs like, no, the
In what
Poké Center
way?
should only do this, god damn it. It's
Oh,
like,
okay.
Can I just
No, shut the fuck up, Brian. We're talking.
I've never shared this with anybody before, and this is a Pokemon story that I
Here
need
we
to share
go.
now. I need to share it now. This is when my mind was officially blown as a Pokemon fan. I used to play the card game, and everybody remembers the card game, right? And how important holographic cards were. You remember that?
Yep.
Okay.
I threw away every other card.
Okay. I'm like 10.
Only important in the fact of like
Collecting.
yeah.
Well, a couple because okay, so here's my point. If you got that Charizard holographic, you were a fucking monster, and you were
Fair.
taking everybody's cards. So listen,
Yeah.
hear this out. So I used to go to Walmart all the time and fucking have to buy Pokemon decks, right? Because that was my life at 10 years old. That's what I
course.
did. And so I go into Walmart one day, and my mom's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be over here," and I'm like, "Cool. I'm gonna go fucking do my allowance or whatever, and I'm gonna go get a Pokemon deck." And I went up to the counter, and this guy was there, and I was like, "Hey, I need Pokemon. Like, give me it." And he's like, "Cool." And he fucking pulls the packs out, and he's like, "Which pack do you want?" And I'm like, "Oh, I got options? You're gonna give me options on the pack?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, I wonder which one has like a holographic one in it. And he goes, "I got you." And
Did he weigh him with his hand?
Dude, no, so check this out. He puts 3 different packs out, right? And he like runs his fingers across them. Like real fucking weird. Just runs his fingers like across all the top of them, and he taps on one, and then he pushes it to me. He goes, "That one." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "Nah." And he's like,
Did he sell you some magic beans too?
He goes, if it's not, I'll give you another pack. And I was like, "What? Cool."
No
So I paid him
way.
for the pack, opened it, Charizard.
No
Holographic.
way.
Bro, blew my fucking. I looked at him and I was like, "What the fuck?" And
That's
he knew
awesome.
it. He like winked. He was like, "Yep." And I was like, "What the fuck?" I thought it was God. I was like, "You
That's
just handed me a
great,
fucking
Richard.
sparkly Charizard. What the fuck?"
That's sick.
And that's how I learned God worked in a comic book shop.
It was a Walmart, sir.
He also said something anti-Semitic to me. It was really strange, all of it. But no, I am all for heavily opinionated Pokemon fans in 2020. If you are heavily opinionated on Pokemon, use that Twitter at right there and send me tweets about your hardcore Pokemon opinions.
don't know if
Shouts
I'm,
to
like,
Haley Renee Johnston, who's
Hardcore
always watching.
opinionated.
Shouts to Amber X Maelstrom, who says, "How did I start watching and walk in on an intense conversation on Pokemon evolution?"
Because we talk about real shit here, Amber. Okay.
the topics that matter, Pokemon
Yes.
evolution.
Yes.
Them holograms were badass, and you were set as the popular one forever in school if you had them. Yes, that is true. So
course.
check this out. This is how I rounded up all the young kids in my neighborhood and turned them into Pokemon gold mines. They would go out and trade with all the kids in the extended neighborhood, and then they'd come to my street. And then I'd whip out my Game Boy with my Game Shark, and I would make them a custom Pokemon with whatever moves they wanted and trade them for a physical card. I would empty out their binders and fill up their Game Boys. It was awesome.
That's lucrative.
And that's the summer when I played a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Sick.
See, we take advantage of 12-year-olds in a completely different way than Austin Carlisle.
I love that.
Oh, whoa.
Too far? Sorry, too far. Oh, we're canceled?
Was it 12-year-olds?
Sorry.
I didn't know that was a story. I thought it was just. I
Oh,
thought he was just a meanie.
Shouts to Second and Sebring.
I thought he was just not a nice guy.
Ooh, yeah, it's a good time to mention that this episode of I Hate the Scene is brought to you by Fuck 12. Fuck them. Right in their stupid asses.
Hold up, real quick. This is a comment for fucking Austin. I'm gonna throw it up. This guy looks like hardcore Drake Bell.
Oh,
Oh, I'll take that. Drake Bell
Damn.
rocks.
Oh, classic. Oh, Xavier.
Drake Bell rocks.
damn.
Yeah, dude. That's what
Yo,
that
shouts
I
to
love
Drake
that.
Bell. He looks like he's having fun on YouTube with David
That's so funny.
Dobrik. I want to be the David Dobrik that does all like the shit that's like more jackass and illegal.
Okay. I'm down with that. You could pull it off.
Thanks, buddy. I'm glad.
You do kind of look like a young Pontius.
I'll
I don't
take
know what that
too.
means.
I love, but he was always my favorite.
Chris Pontius, sir? You don't know who
Wild
the fuck
Boy
Chris
for
Pontius
life.
is, Matt?
Wild Boys for life, dude.
There you go, dog.
Oh, dude. Okay, I didn't watch Wild Boys. Okay, I was.
Well, then you didn't live as a child.
Yeah, I was busy getting laid and watching Adult Swim at night. Okay.
Chris Pontius
What
was the
about
guy
chicken,
that
bro.
Chris Pontius was the guy that dressed up as the devil and went through the streets of LA and said
Yes.
he got out of California and punched that guy, or that guy punched him.
And he
That
shot
was
shot
Pontius.
out of the manhole and landed on top of that guy.
Yep.
Amber Malmstrom's got a good point. Would have went better if you said Davi Vanity. Yes, Davi does go after 12-year-olds, and that would have been more accurate. But you know what? I'm just hating on Austin at the moment. So
Amber bringing in the heat.
I also couldn't name a single Davi Vanity song if I tried, and I know a few of Mice and Men's terrible songs. Speaking of terrible songs, would you guys like to do Albert reviews?
Yes, please.
What were you gonna say, Austin? I ruined
I don't
that.
even remember at this point.
Good.
Oh
Either
no,
way.
I was gonna say, how funny is it that picture came up on my time hop today, and you asked me to do this today randomly?
Yeah, that is
What
crazy,
picture?
dude. Because we were in 2016. This time, 2016, we were hanging out, right?
To the day. It
To
was
the day.
this day 4 years ago.
Oh, with the big joint, with the
Yeah.
big rock. Okay,
That
so
was 4 years ago.
fun fact: 2016 Warp Tour. Austin had the pleasure of being with the Issues guys. I was out with the Ghost Town guys, and because I got sick of my tour manager that I hated, I went and hung out with the Issues crew a lot and smoked a lot
The
of
dab bar.
chronic in the back. Yeah, in the back of that bus where there was air conditioning was heaven. Me, you, Clayton, good times.
Dude,
Shouts
amazing.
to Wheezy Brian Watt. He brought a rock cone about that long, like a foot long,
Yes.
and a bunch of bands took pictures with it that day.
But nobody
it
wanted to
was-
smoke it except for us.
Well, I think they all
Pussies.
wanted to smoke it, but they didn't really think it through because that was a tough one to get through.
Oh, it was rough. I mean, it took a long time.
We had 13 people in on like plus 13 plus people in on this gigantic foot long joint, and by the end of it, the owner of the joint was threatening to get kicked out by security.
Mhm.
That was a good time.
I
definitely.
love the security, the like backstage Warp Tour security guards that try to like hassle people for smoking weed.
Those guys were stagehands that went extra
Those are
aggro on a homeless guy.
Those are the best. I love it.
Yeah. There was a
There's,
homeless.
there's not a
dude-
better feeling than like sending a stagehand home because he's a dickhead. Honestly.
So I found out after the fact that the guy that was super aggro beating up the homeless guy, he was a bald guy in a white tee that night. He was the dude that hollowed out a baby powder container and brought a bunch of cocaine on the tour.
Sounds about
Yo,
right.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, I
Probably
found
has
that
a
out through a
tattoo
couple
in
channels.
the middle of his chest.
That is
Dude, I
fucking
don't know,
brilliant.
but he was extra hyped and aggro for no reason. And the reason they wanted to kick my friend out was because there was a homeless guy that snuck in that was drinking beer bottles he found on the ground after hours. And instead of just saying, hey, we're going to throw him out, they wanted to beat this homeless guy's ass. So my buddy whipped out a camera to expose him, and they got pissed off at that. And
Makes
then
sense.
I get in trouble because it gets back to my band the
Of
next day.
course,
So,
because you're the one with the laminate.
yep. And they're like, they look at my laminate. Is this guy with you? Well, he was.
Yeah. Not anymore.
now. Yeah, not now. Like, if you're kicking him out, then no, he's not with anyone.
It's so funny.
Yeah, the good
That was,
times.
that
Those
was
shouts.
honestly probably one of my favorite. That was probably my favorite Warped Tour year, honestly.
That was definitely my favorite because I'll never do that bitch again, even if it did exist.
Dude, I did it so many times. I'd probably do it again if it came back around.
I mean, he's bringing something back. What's he bringing back? Who knows?
He's
It's
he's
weird.
he's not gonna finish or he's not gonna end it. Like he'll do something. I have faith in that.
My theory is that it's going to stay a festival. Like had COVID not
A
happened, he'd have done
festival of
he'd have done
shorter
another.
proportions.
Not even. It's like his weekend. He did in California for the 25 year, right? He hit like 3 different cities. I think he just
Yeah.
does that, or he'll do an East Coast and a West Coast, and then maybe like
Yeah,
a
make
North.
it more like exclusive, not
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
see
that
it.
was part of the problem. Is just so saturated. Like nobody.
Festivals. That's where it's at right now. You know what better way to do it than just have 3 or 4 or 5 stages and
I love
have 100
festivals.
bands over the 3 days. You make your money off of it. You know that nobody's gonna fucking go anywhere or do anything. They're gonna hang out all 3 fucking days. You're gonna get different crowds throughout the days.
Yep.
It's probably a lot easier to structure than a fucking Warped Tour.
Oh,
You don't have to fucking
100%.
worry about the hassle, all the nonsense.
There's no routing involved. It's
Yeah,
just like
come on. It's what to do. It's the move.
I love festival touring, honestly.
I just think the only thing that's really gonna fuck with it is you already have that format, right? You have it with Riot Fest, you have it with fucking what's the one that they do, Rocklahoma or whatever they fucking do
Rocklahoma's
in
great.
like Oklahoma. Like they have that
Rock
already.
USA is great. Like
Yeah. Rolling
Carolina
Hills.
Rebellion.
yeah, all
Yeah,
the
There's one in
DWP,
every fucking state.
the DWP festivals are like A1. Those are like some of my favorites to do.
DWP, Drinking with Pussies.
Yes, also known as Danny Wimmer Productions.
Oh, okay, right on. Fuck yeah, I thought you meant Devil Wears Prada or something.
That's TDWP.
Oh yeah, Tidwap.
Tidwip.
I think he's going to end up bringing the Warp Tour thing back in like a 10-date kind of tour, and I think that is going
see
to
that.
take over the new norm for annual tours. Like, we've seen every annual tour, especially in the rock world, die over the past 10 years.
Oh,
Every single
easily.
one from the smaller ones like Scream It Like You Mean It, Scream the Prayer. Even like I'm shocked Summer Slaughter even happens like as many times as it has.
They
That's gotta
tried.
be dead.
What was it last year? They tried to do. Oh God, there was like two festivals going on that they tried to do at the same time, and one was like the Used and Taking Back Sunday. Disrupt, and then there was another fest that had like the Maine on it.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they hit that. Okay, so you know who used to do that? Sounds of the Underground and Ozfest used to do that. Sounds of the Underground
Okay.
would hit through the
Oh.
summer, and Ozfest would hit through the summer, and they had like 3 or 4 dates where they would get like, and they did it at Soma, which was fucking massive.
That's
so
a
Soma in
weird
San
collective
Diego,
of metal.
instead of doing like the Soma actual stage, they got the parking lot to the sports
Outside.
arena. Yeah, they got the parking lot to the sports arena and had both festivals playing at the same time, stage after stage.
That's insane.
Disrupt also did that. Yeah, I mean, I caught the Disrupt leg coming through Austin, and it was just Disrupt. It wasn't bad. I mean, it had a pretty decent turnout. You know, the Used, Thrice, they all pulled pretty good bands. Circus Survive, Memphis Mayfire. It had some decent names on it. But when you do the combining, you have to plan for it. And I remember for the summers that Sounds of the Underground and Ozfest did that, you knew you wanted to hit the San Diego Ozfest because it was going to be slammed in with
Chula
Sounds of the
Vista.
Underground. Yes, and you knew you wanted to do fucking whatever other one, right? Warped Tour, you weren't competing with that. And I remember going to several Warped Tours, and like if you had a fucking small band that was on a tour in a city the same time as Warped Tour, fuck you. Good luck. You're not getting any fucking crowd.
The perfect situation was being in California. Warped Tour for years and years, they would start and end in Cali. So if you had an act like I think in 2008, Bring Me the Horizon only played the end portion of Warped Tour. And so I didn't get to see them at the first date at Pomona when I attended, but when I attended the very last date at Carson, I got to see them. And I thought that was the most perfect shit ever because, you know, I'm getting press passes, so I'm getting to go out there and meet a bunch of new bands and shit. It's all taken care of. But you're seeing the entire Warped Tour. Like, there's not, unless it's an act that's playing one day in their home.
Well, yeah, like the special guest or whatever, you know.
Yeah, like I'm legit seeing like the whole thing. And at that time, there weren't a lot of special guests. Like you might get like a Paramore in this city, but it wasn't like when they were doing Linkin Park and surprise sets.
Definitely.
That was wild, by the way.
Idea. Like genius marketing.
I think if Warped Tour was still going on, the surprise shit would have grown a lot more.
It would have had to.
But playing Hybrid Theory in its entirety, that just holds a special place in my heart because the Download Fest performance that they did, which I think was like the first of that kind that brought back Hybrid Theory, to this day is still one of the best live concerts I've ever heard on iTunes. Hands down, it's fucking amazing.
Wow.
Not a lot of live albums sound like really
I think
great.
I watched that. And it's amazing. Very moving. Sound is incredible.
The shit that they talk in between songs that either brings you back to 2000 when Hybrid Theory was a new album, or where they're talking about Ollie Sykes and what he means to them and they mean to him.
Yeah.
And that's why I've always...
How weird is that?
Dude, I've said this for a few years now, and it hasn't come to fruition, but I still think it will. If Linkin Park does another record, and it's not some unreleased Chester songs, couldn't they just get Ollie and have an incredible fucking run? Even if it's a year of touring and no album, wouldn't that be fucking incredible?
I think Ollie would have to get a lot better.
Or would they just change the style of song? I mean, because he ain't going to be Chester.
True. Very true.
Just imagine all of Chester's
it would probably have to be a little
Ollie's style. Yeah, reworked.
At this point, I think, I mean, that's a great idea.
I'd almost prefer that.
You've talked about this before, and I can see that, right? But at the same time, I think if they were to come back, it would almost have to be as like you're playing the old Linkin Park stuff. You are playing the Hybrid Theory. You're playing Meteora. You're playing, you know, even Minutes to Midnight. Even if you want to get way into their later discography, you're just playing Linkin Park songs. And in that case, then yeah, you take out an Ollie. You maybe take out a couple guys. You take out.
I really didn't like Chester singing on the later material. Minutes to Midnight and everything after that, I thought was a lot more toned down than what we were used to from Chester. So if you gave me those songs with Ollie instead, I'm all for it. I'm loving it. I hope they record an album with them. That's just like a rumor I've been putting out into the ether for the past 5 years.
That'd be crazy. Yeah, I mean they've always been one of my favorite bands. I think actually Linkin Park was the very first concert I ever went to, like as a kid.
Oh, that would have
Dang.
been fucking sick.
Have Lincoln? You saw Lincoln Park as a kid too, Matt? Or
Yeah. I want to say it was insane tour. God, it was like 2003 or 2004, I think.
Don't you say Summer Sanitarium? Don't you
It
fucking say
was,
the Summer Sanitarium tour?
something Revolution.
Project
Project
Revolution.
Revolution with the blend. Yeah, that was.
The leg with Korn and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, that was like the
Oh,
first one.
wow.
I think that was the first one.
Yeah,
Because
And I remember
they got weak.
they came out on stage and they had like this. It was almost like a screen in front of the stage, but it was some sort of like sugar glass or something. And as soon as like the downbeat hit, the like screen fell and it like shattered like this fake glass. It was one of the coolest productions I've ever seen.
I saw Linkin Park in concert one time, and here was the lineup. Opener was Mudvayne.
Sick.
Deftones came on after. Then Linkin Park. Then Limp Bizkit. Then Metallica. The 2003
How?
the
Damn.
2003 Summer Sanitarium tour. It was right after Saint Anger came out.
Imagine if that tour
Ew.
happened right now.
Metallica was on like this fucking "Yo, we're back" kind of thing. It was at
Everyone
the
has
Coliseum.
COVID right now, Austin.
The Coliseum in LA. Fucking
People would go to
90,000
that
people.
show.
90,000 people. It was crazy.
I have a lineup that'll rival that. I don't know if it's better, but it rivals that.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
I was on tour with Ghost, the satanic mask-wearing Ghost BC
Love
dude.
Ghost.
2015, they played this random festival in Tempe, Arizona. I don't know the name of the festival. It was a one-off. I think it was a part of a 2-day festival. The lineup on that particular day was Ghost, Rob Zombie, Pussifer, Linkin
Holy.
Park,
Oh.
and did I already say Rob Zombie?
Yes.
Yeah, Rob Zombie.
He played twice though, probably.
Yeah.
Dude, it sounded
White
like
Zombie
it.
and Rob Zombie.
The night before, Tool played, and then on our
Oh.
night we had Pussifer.
I love
Yeah,
Tool
yeah.
live.
Yeah.
And the Deftones. Shouts to the Deftones. They were absolutely terrible that night. I
Confession,
love them
I've
so
actually
much.
never seen the Deftones live.
Oh, dude, you're not missing anything. It's okay. Just
Oh,
keep
shut
on
the
loving
fuck
them.
up. They're
I
brilliant.
feel like at one point it was probably incredible to see. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much now, even though
I feel like
Taste
Chino
of
really
Chaos,
tried
2006.
back in the White Pony.
yeah,
days.
exactly. Like I watch live videos and stuff, and like there's a dramatic difference. Obviously, same with any band that's been around for 20 years.
I love the Deftones. They're probably they're up there with Nirvana for me. I love their albums. They're amazing.
Same. But Nirvana's my number one fan of all time. Band.
Sweet. All right, I knew I had you on here for a reason. The Deftones are one of those bands where they have these amazing records, and it's a very hard vocal style to pull off regardless.
Yes.
But for the past 10 years, if you ask anyone that's seen them, a lot of people have mixed reviews, and most people tell me more often than not that Chino was terrible when they saw them. He was pretty bad when I seen him. But
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's how
deter me.
that's how it's been the last 3 times I've seen System of a Down randomly at a festival in the last 5 years. It's been awful.
Wow.
so-
I've seen Deftones 3 times. It's phenomenal every time.
I love
So
to hear
because I ended up at this random Tempe festival, I was going to ask you, as part of the touring world, what random festival did you end up in and go, wow, this is a really sick lineup? Because I know it definitely was not the Everything's Bigger in Texas festival when
Hands down,
Biscuit played.
There's two occurrences. One which I knew I was getting into was with Full Force.
Yes.
I think it was, I don't remember. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago. It was like 1 month exactly before Lemmy from Motorhead died, and Motorhead and Iron Maiden were direct support and main support for that festival. And that was amazing. I did not think I was going to get to see Motorhead. And then 2, Hove Festival in Sweden. I had absolutely no idea. I was with Memphis Mayfire at the time. This is probably 5 or 6 years ago. And we get there, and it's like a pop festival with like one metal band stage, and the 3 other stages the headliners were Schoolboy Q, French Montana, and God, what's her name? Golding.
Ellie Goulding?
Ellie Goulding were the 3 headliners, and then
Wow.
with Memphis Mayfire like in the middle of the day.
Wow.
So that was sick. I had like Schoolboy was like backstage and like playing ping pong with us and shit. It was
I
awesome.
love
Who else was on the metal stage? I'm curious as to what acts they got to play.
Honestly, I would have to like
Go back.
go back and think
All
of
good.
probably like a bunch of like random European bands. I think we were probably the only American band there.
There was a random Texas festival we played in El Paso. I can't remember the name. I don't think it's Everything is Bigger in Texas because I think that was the I think that was what's his Upon a Burning Bodies festival. But
Oh
it was
god.
something Texas Fest. And
Okay.
it was the worst fucking lineup of headliners I'd ever seen, dude.
That's
Like,
great.
first of all, it was Buck Cherry and they didn't show up.
Yikes.
So the headliner
That's-
became
that's-
Limp Bizkit, and they
that's
did
standard.
show up, and so did the Nookie Girls. And underneath Limp Bizkit, oh yeah, you guessed it, Hollywood Undead. Yeah, terrible. It was fucking terrible.
I think that if and when all of this touring resolves, that I will be on tour with Hollywood Undead for a tour.
Oh,
That'll be dope, dude. I hope you do.
Well,
because I gotta-
it'll be with Asking, but Asking and Hollywood. I don't know.
You see this Hollywood Undead mask right here, bro?
Probably
Yeah,
shouldn't have said that.
yeah, we're
How many viewers
OGs.
we got?
Oh no!
All the
We
viewers
can
just
edit.
left.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, no, it
you'll
was
see
a
an
funny,
article.
it was a funny festival because I was with the Dance Gavin boys, and John, the screamer for DGD, went up to one of the Hollywood Undead dudes just to fuck with them.
Of
And
course.
he's like, "Hey man, you guys still sober?" He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" As he's drinking a beer, just like weird shit, just like
I love
poke the
that.
bear, piss him off.
Just blitzing them.
Yeah, totally.
love
Shouts
that.
to Xavier Hernandez, who has the most 2008 comment ever. I remember going to Warped Tour one year and then going to Chain that same night to go
Ooh.
see the Receiving End of Sirens, and they were like, "Why are you all here and not at Warped?"
That's amazing. I love Chain Reaction. I was just there recently.
That's got to be 2008 because that was the last time Treos dropped an album and Warped Tour.
That's amazing.
Yeah. R.I.P. to Treos, man.
And Treos would
First
so
tour
not be
I
at
ever
Warped.
did went
Hey,
to Chain.
what happened?
The first tour I ever did went to Chain Reaction.
Oh, Chain is phenomenal, man. Chain's our hub in California. That,
love it.
Chain
one
will
of our main
always
spots.
be one of my favorites.
Yeah, 100%.
Such a vibe.
Forever.
It's so weird going back there like after 10 years and like everything's just the same almost.
The exact same gross ass shirts on the wall.
Yeah, dude. It's so weird.
The same Misery Signals T-shirt on the
So
wall.
weird. There's
Oh,
like zero
fuck.
accommodations made.
Hey, speaking of Misery Signals' new song, Fire.
Oh,
Song.
really?
Fire. You haven't heard it?
No,
Misery,
I
Misery Signal is killing it.
used to be a huge fan
Oh, it's great. Their new song is phenomenal. Check it out.
back in
It's on
the
Spotify.
high school.
We were gonna get into some new music, nah?
Yeah, and speaking of Spotify, if you are a Spotify member or if you're like me and too cheap to get the premium, go ahead and look for I Hate the Scene on Spotify because we have an episode 12 playlist that'll be all the music that we plan to review and like and shit on, so you can tag along with us. We're going to have an episode playlist for every single episode we do, so shouts to our Spotify members and iTunes. Get the fuck on with it, man. Like, I like you better. Let me
feel
make
like
playlists.
I feel like if you have music or any sort of audio established and published on Spotify, that every person affiliated should just get Spotify Premium.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why would that not be a thing?
Because they want money and they're only going to give you 3 months free.
Exactly. And then they
Straight
send
up.
you a 12-cent check.
Well, speaking of 12-cent checks, the new Emmure record, Hindsight, had nothing to do with anything.
I jammed it in its entirety today.
It's fucking sick, right?
Dude, Emmure is like one of those bands that I'll always like be a fan, no matter what they put out.
Dude, they could slap my mom tonight and I'll still jam the record tomorrow.
100%.
I want to do a little.
I'd want it still.
I want to do a little airing out. Bryan actually texted me, "I hate Emmure. I never liked Emmure."
I never said that,
and
sir.
I
No,
told
no.
you, what did I tell
Oh,
you? I said
wow.
Emmure
They're
is
God
God
tier.
tier.
I'm
That's amazing.
not the biggest Emmure fan, only because I saw Emmure a couple of times, and when I saw them the first time, it was with American Me and Carnage.
Wow, did you like huff paint at that
It
show?
was fucking Emmure, Carnage, and American Me, and I just remember it
You mean
being the most-
cephalic carnage?
No, Carnage. Like they were an old hardcore band.
Gross.
Anyways, oh, it was gross. And that's where I was just like, man, Emmure, okay, I get it. I'm a fan of Frankie. I like Frankie. And I don't hate Emmure. They're good. I've liked them especially more since Josh Travis joined the band. But
homie.
I'm still not. I'm not completely sold on him. I think fucking. I'm waiting for like Josh Travis and Glass Cloud to get back into it. I'm waiting for maybe another Tony Danza. Like I feel like he
Josh
could
is
be.
always working on me. I feel like he's just got so many ideas, always cooking.
He
He's just trying
is,
to work
yeah.
with
I
people.
don't
He's
think
got a
Josh
new-
is
he's
the
got his own
reason that
project,
Glass
too.
Cloud ain't cooking. Like, I'm pretty
It's
sure if
not.
Glass
It's not.
Cloud was a band now, Jerry would probably be
Yeah.
canceled.
It's not.
I feel like Josh just lives with a guitar in his hand.
He actually does, and his
Yeah.
new solo stuff is phenomenal,
It's
and that's
sick.
where
It's so heavy.
I know, and that's where I'm like, man, you just don't get that in Emmure from him. You just get this heavy beat down, fucking whatever, right? And
Fair.
I enjoy it, but you know,
Emmure was never his style, and that's why it's been such a cool venture.
Yeah, I would say
yeah.
that. I think Emmure live just tops
they're
everything.
phenomenal live. They're phenomenal live.
Especially like when you mix like Frankie's and Joshua's like stage presence
Energy.
together, it's just like unbeatable.
I think for the same reasons that I love Emmure are the same reasons that a lot of like your common core fans would hate them. It's because Emmure gets straight to the point. They
Yeah.
give me the angry lyrics, the breakdowns, everything's in binary from track 1 and on. I don't need guitar solos. I don't need you to show me you're a great musician. I need breakdowns, and I need them now, and I need them fast, and I need you to slow down at the right time.
Out. They
Yes.
pumped them out, dude.
And go ahead and say bitch after every line. It's
That's
fine. with me.
fine. That's fine.
I love it.
I'll still sing along.
I've been cheated on by ex-girlfriends before, Frankie. I feel you. So just kill them all.
It hurts
Like,
too,
let's let
right?
the record go.
I think like I'm probably gonna get "Won't You Be My Bride" tattooed on me at some point for sure.
Won't you be my bride? That's definitely the most annoying lyrics they have.
That's so funny. I remember jamming that like on the bus, like on the way to school, just like pissed as hell.
I didn't go to school.
Not doing any fucking work today.
Emmure's my number 1 for the week. They're definitely among my top for the year. It gives me what I want. The I've Seen God song was dope, where they're mentioning all the band names, but it went even further when I heard the song Trash Folder, because
That looks sick.
Trash Folder and what it's about is
Oh,
pretty much the same reason why we call this show I Hate the Scene. Oh, your
Yes,
record's cool.
yes,
I love it.
100%.
Oh, never mind. It's fucking garbage. The fickle scene kid. He loves this record, but then he hates the next one. He likes when only 5 people have heard of you, but when 5,000 people have heard of you, he doesn't like the band anymore.
That's the worst.
That's what our name is about. That's why I
Yeah.
hate the scene, because these
Yes.
little fuckers hate the scene.
Yep.
Hey, fucks.
Persona Non Grata, I think, is my favorite song on the record so far.
I love when bands like Emmure getting egotistical on record is just so fitting, that either like, look, I've never met Frankie. I can assume he's probably a decent dude and this is all an image, but
He's a great dude.
You just hear these songs and think, oh, you egotistical asshole piece of shit scene kid, and it just goes with the entire theme that I think Frankie wants to give you.
Yes.
Is that they are the kings of the scene and they do it better than you.
And I'm totally with that. Like, you know, like so many bands have tried to personify themselves as like, you know, something so much bigger or cooler than what they are.
They
but
wish
like,
they could be this.
But like Frankie is like cool and he's a real person, and like I feel like he just says what's on his mind, and like if you don't fuck with it, then that's on you.
I'm with it. I dig his lyrics. I really like the I've Seen God. I think it's really
He's
heavy.
just he is very straightforward, and like you were saying, like especially like, you know, in his songs and stuff like that, he's the exact same in person. Like if he doesn't vibe with you, he'll let you know. If you know, like if you're harsh in the mood, he'll tell you to leave. Like, but he is a great dude, straight up.
Sounds like my kind of homie. Shouts
Yeah,
to Frankie.
honestly, yeah. If you're not a cool guy, then you're not coming in the room.
Brian,
Yeah.
how much did you hate this record?
No, I liked it. Again, I don't hate Emmure. They're not, you know.
Because Frankie's gonna hear this and he's gonna
I
tweet
do.
you.
Hey, please come on the show, man. I'd love to talk about, I don't know, anything other than breakdowns. I'm just
All
kidding.
your ex-girlfriends?
Yeah, who hurt you, bro? I want to talk about that.
God damn
Who
it.
got you sad?
God.
No, I really liked. I liked the opening track, "Fun." I thought that was good. I'm a big. I've seen God. That's what actually got me excited for the album.
Yeah.
Because, you know, obviously that's a big one for us. And I think
Gypsy Disco and Pig Ear will do it too, though.
Thundermouth
Yes.
is what it was called. Thundermouth was a great track. Thundermouth was pretty good. So I enjoyed it. It's not my number one for this week, no, but I
Real
enjoyed
quick,
it. It wasn't that
because I know this wasn't on your list, Matt, but what do you think of? I don't know if you're a fan or not. What do you think of Decay?
Ooh.
The Acacia Strain's new EP cycle.
Oh, I was like, Decay. What is this? A black metal band? God damn it!
we actually covered that a couple weeks ago. That was my
We've
number
been
one.
reviewing them.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing was I thought that the EPs were going to spell out Decay Dance, and he was signing with Pete Wentz's label. We were wrong on that. I like the records. They're cool. You can tell it's like a matured Acacia Strain sound. I think because it's matured, it's lacking something for me. Like a certain bass tone. Like there's some rawness to it. I don't know if it's the guitar or the vocals.
Did DL do this album? Do you guys know?
I don't. The production on it?
Yeah, like it was like the original Acacia Strain.
I don't know. I don't know if they
produced everything for them since, basically.
I don't know if they went back to him. We reviewed this album when we had the gentleman from Ingested on. I'm spacing on his name, Sean, I believe.
Jason.
Jason. There you go. Yeah, sorry.
Slam
Jason from Ingested on, and that was my release of the week. That
Sick.
was, you know,
I've been jamming that regularly.
So, and they announced Slow Decay, which is actually going to be their album that they're going to be releasing.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard about that. Yeah. So they mentioned
it's all the songs from the Decay EPs, but slowed down.
No, they announced
it's chopped and screwed.
I would love that.
It's not. No, I don't know what it is, but they did say a new album, and it was going to be called Slow Decay.
Sick. I'm stoked.
And I think this was the little. I'm about projects, and we're probably going to get into Bring Me Here in a second, and we can talk about their new stuff.
I'm a sucker for a concept album, and the Acacia Strain nails it.
Yes, and
I
you know what?
fucking hate concept albums.
You know what I love about it? They did the same shit with Fit for an Autopsy. They did that split that they did.
Yeah.
Fit, Thy Art, and someone else.
Yeah, it was Thy Art, it was Fit, and then Acacia.
Strain.
And they did the three. And that was, me...
It was like, they each had like 2 songs or something.
Yes, and the album art was the bloody dude in the snow when he was like walking away.
The Acacia Strain, like each of them did a cover or something?
They did one original and a cover of the other band. So there was 6 tracks, 2 songs from each band. And it was something unique. It was something fresh. It was something fun. They were doing it for whatever reason, but it was a release that wasn't like an anticipated album. I got that same vibe from Decay, right?
Yeah.
Two
and
tracks.
I like, that's one thing that I wish would translate from the hip hop industry to the rock world is
like a mixtape.
People just need to put out music, man. Quit overthinking it. Quit spending 2 years to write an album. Like, if it takes you that long, you're either like doing something wrong or not trying hard enough.
Don't wait 2 years to give me 30 minutes of music because I'm fucking
100%.
pissed.
Yes.
Like, don't do that. Stop doing that. You're ruining it yourselves.
All right, let's get into
Also, quit playing for 2 hours a night. Nobody wants to sit through 6 hours worth of bands.
Speak for yourself, bro. That's all I do, okay? It's called I Hate the Scene, not I love every fucking album that comes my way. Yo, and that's another thing. Yo, shouts to everyone who's told me the past couple weeks that, like, oh, you hate every album. No, I don't hate every album. But let's be real here. How many times have you heard a song or an album that was 10 out of 10 perfect?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, you're asking me what I think of this song to hear me rip it apart. Yes. Don't ask me if you don't want to hear it, because the only artists that I'm not going to pick apart are ones that I personally favorite, like a West Side Gun, a Griselda. You show me some 2008 Devil Wears Prada, I'm not going to pick it apart. I have no complaints.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It was,
It's also, we're not getting 10s out of 10s. Now, in the music world, there's no 10s out of 10s. It's very rare, so to expect that, no. But that's not to say that
the only 10 out of 10 is by personal preference, not skill and talent.
Exactly. Anybody that gives a 10 out of 10 like that, you're saying it's perfect.
Like, I don't like, there's not a single 10 out of 10 Beatles album for me, but
well, that's because the Beatles suck.
Yeah, I think so too, but the vast majority of the world thinks otherwise.
Hey, I'm gonna disconnect this fucking feed and fucking
oh, big Beatles defender, are you?
It's so funny. I have one of my like best friends who's a sound engineer, Chris Miller. He's like die-hard Beatles fan, and I always just like post like anti-Beatles stuff to get a rise out of him sometimes.
I'm 32, so I never gave a fuck about the Beatles because
That's so
I'm
funny.
32.
The
But-
only reason I ever cared was because my mom.
Yeah, no.
So-
really, that's the
honestly.
only reason I like the Beatles as well. So.
My parents, they listen to country westerns, so they do not cross over into that realm. But I did used to work at a Best Buy, and I had a customer that followed me around the store, annoying the piss out of me, and they
Look.
kept asking me about the Beatles, and I'm like, dude, like, look at me, like, I'm like 20, like, I don't know shit about the Beatles. Why do you keep asking me about the Beatles? And so he kept asking, what's your favorite Beatles song? What's your favorite Beatles song? And I finally said, you know what? You know what my favorite Beatles sound was? The gun on Lennon's head. And they said, whoa, man, that's deep. And I said,
That's
yeah, stop
deep.
asking me.
Stop asking. I'd love to see you in a pair of khakis. On a side note.
Ooh, in that baby
Yeah,
blue, in that
that's-
fucking navy blue vest.
Yo.
Oh man.
Check me out on my OnlyFans, where me and Austin Michael Belanger will be getting down and dirty while listening to exclusive 2008 metalcore.
Love it.
If you've ever wanted to see two white guys jack off to 08 metalcore, now is your time. We're taking donations, ladies, fellas, anyone,
Amazing.
please. Speaking of jacking off,
Amber said, "Now we're fighting because the Beatles are all right."
Yeah, hey, Amber,
Oh,
for
we're
sure
gonna
don't- for
fight
sure don't
because the
fight if you
band
think
is
they're
all right.
Yeah,
they're all right. No, they're alt-right. That's the problem.
That's
Oh no.
Speaking of all right, let's go ahead and review the Make Them Suffer album, How to Survive a Funeral. I have an interesting take on this record. I enjoy it.
Okay.
I would say, you know, if I had to give it a shitty number grade, it would be something like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Like, it's above average.
Yes.
But it's not perfect and it's not flawless, and it's probably going to be a record I forget about next week. But what I can take away from this is the same thing that I could take away from our last night's first record back in like 2007, is that this band is going to be really fucking good on the next release or the one after that.
That's what happened
That
with
you
Wait For.
You can tell that Make Them Suffer have almost found their sound. Like, they have this girl singing and she's playing the keyboards,
Mhm.
and they don't utilize her until like track 4 on the album.
I
She's
noticed.
not-
I noticed that. Like all of a sudden, it was a girl singing, and I was like,
It's
Whoa,
it's a
are
really
we-
weird sound that could be blended better. But I also I don't think that she has quite found her voice either, because she's only featured a few times. You can tell it's really done up production wise. Like, they're trying to do more with her voice than she's actually doing. I would say you give them another album or two, and she's going to be featured predominantly on every hook. She's
Okay.
going to have more intricate parts. And I think Make Them Suffer is in line. If they stay together, they keep this lineup together and this sound, they're
whoever
in line to be
plays-
one of the bigger metal bands in the world.
I've got to look into them a little bit more. Whoever plays guitar for them is really good.
I'm actually surprised at all that bullshit that just came out of your mouth, Matt, because I don't necessarily think that this is even. I'm actually disappointed in this album, kind of, because you look at Neverbloom, you look at fucking whatever the fucking their second album was.
Did you
right?
want more symphonic shit? Because that's what I don't like.
No, but what I did expect is I expected them to stay. It sounds like they got kind of soft on this album, and not to say that they're soft, because they're not. Right? It's
The
still a
singing,
heavy
I mean, it opens up kind
metalcore
of hard.
album. It's a heavy, hard album, yes. But you go back to Neverbloom. Neverbloom is brutal. Neverbloom is straight brutal with 3 O's or 3 zeros, right? We're not even using O's. We're using fucking zeros to describe how
So
brutal
I'm definitely guilty on this
Neverbloom
one.
was.
I haven't listened to Neverbloom, but when I bring up Make Them Suffer, every person brings up that album Neverbloom.
It was their
which
first
I believe it came out in 2012, and it was
Yeah.
a different female singer on that album till
I
now.
didn't even know
Well-
that they were from Australia.
Yeah, and well, so and
Do you
also,
even tour?
I'm checking their wiki right now, bro.
It's not just a girl singer too. They have a guy in the band as well. The guy is
Yeah,
also
but
in the band.
no one cares about
And-
his cleans.
That's where it got weird, because when the Old Souls came out and Neverbloom, and they did their whole like collab and they mixed the two albums together and remastered them.
I need a
it-
drink. Talk amongst yourselves.
It gave them like a definitive sound. Almost to me, it was like a Bleeding Through meets like a fucking, I don't know, but to me it was unique, and it was a band that had they kept like their really heavy, grungy, brutal sound, it would have, I think, that's how they would have made their name. And I
Yeah.
think that's what people were anticipating on this album. And to me, it fell flat. It definitely like a 7.
Yeah.
But I was anticipating
But
an 8 or a 9.
I agree with both of you. I agree with that statement entirely, and I agree with Matt that I think
I
this
definitely agree with Matt.
set them up a little bit to like for their next album to be like where
I
it
hope their album's not like this. I hope the next album isn't like this.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think the next album will like. I think this album set them up for them to figure out like what is going to be their sound, and then the next album will be the one for them. Hopefully.
So I know we're against.
I feel like Australian bands like really, really, really strive to be like anything less than 10.
Yeah,
So-
there is a lot of good Aussie core bands. I
Yeah.
don't like giving grades to albums, but just so I know where we stand, if you had to like grade this, where would it be on that
7.
spectrum of 1 to 10?
I'd give it a 6 or a 7, but I was expecting an 8 or a 9 because that's how big into Make Them Suffer I was. So I was expecting a
got
better
through the
release.
first half. So I'm gonna give the first half of the album. I'd probably give it a 6. If I was judging on like musicality and musicianship, it would probably be higher than a 6. But as far as like, liking the songs and vibing with them, probably a 6.
Fair enough.
But I think they're really good musicians, and some of those like guitar riffs are super clean.
I think they're a really good band. I was trying to imagine if, listening to this record from track 1 and on, like if I saw them at an arena show, because that's the type of band that I see them as being more of like an arena band, like what would that show be? And it opens up pretty heavy. I don't know this for a fact, but judging by the sound, I think they're pretty young. Isn't this like still a fairly young band?
Let's find out.
I mean, 2012 was their first album, so their big release came out. Their debut 2012. I'm gonna look up on Wikipedia right now and see exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm on.
But I mean, let's look.
There was a lot of buzz
around
around this album, and for not having
2012
like that.
Australian metalcore. You've got In Heart's Wake, right? You have I
Great
think
band.
North Lane at that
Great
time
band.
was fucking coming out, right? They're all great bands. And your comment of Australian bands kind of need that 10 out of 10. The reason that I think that they're that way is because they had like a breakthrough with D's Nuts and fucking Austrian Death Machine and
Amity.
I Curled the Palm
Amity
Queen.
took a while
Amity,
to cross over here.
Yes, they did.
Amity, I think, fell off. I think Amity's first 2 albums, beautiful. Anything after that, get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm so over
And that's the
Amity
funny thing. Like talent-wise, those 2 albums are really good, but as far as like having a buzz and sold out shows in
It's
the US,
everything after.
it wasn't happening on Chasing
it
Ghosts,
wasn't.
which
No,
is
no,
weird.
no. Yeah.
No, because they did take that cleaner sound, right?
It wasn't until what was the last Warped Tour that they did? That is what, and then they like popped off like all over again.
It
Is
kind
that
of
because
just
they went
clicked
at Maddie,
overnight,
though?
and they got way
I
bigger.
feel like-
That had a lot to do with it. I feel.
I feel
mean,
like that's because they took a shot at Maddie.
a lot of
and they were
bands
standing
on
up.
Warped Tour that took shots at Maddie definitely like boosted their numbers like 100%. Same with the Wonder Years.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when they fucked up that security guard, huh, for fucking the fan up.
I hate that band.
Hey, that's cool, man. So do we. Just kidding.
Good.
I don't know.
I hate those guys.
While we're on
Bass
this, of
player
like,
for the Wonder Years can eat a dick.
yeah, fuck you, bass player from Wonder Years.
Fuck you, Wonder Years. The only good thing about the Wonder Years was the TV show Fight Me.
Yeah.
I like that Suburbia album with the pigeon on it, so I will hold my judgment for later, but it will be swift and criminal. While we're talking about Warped Tour bands and the milk carton that they are on now, asking where the fuck they're at, what? So when we did Warp together, a lot of my friends kept talking about this band. They were very boisterous on stage. I thought they had a decent following. I thought they were going to be a big deal by the time Warped ended, and I haven't heard shit from them. Cane Hill. What the fuck happened to Cane Hill?
Dude, Cane Hill. Okay, some of my best friends, like I talk to those dudes like on the regular.
They were poised to take over.
Dude, they should be so much bigger than they are. They are so good, I think. And live, they like pull through 10 out of 10.
They were the band of 2016
Yes,
that everyone on
100%.
tour was saying, have you seen Cane Hill?
100%, dude. And they rip. They should be. I don't know what happened. I really don't. And I don't know why it is, but they should be bigger than they are. 100%.
One of the things that stood out to me, because at first, like, look,
Sorry,
What
I
were
was
you
gonna say, I think it had a lot to do with at first they were like kind of known as like shitty people, and like they were known for like, partying and doing this and doing that. And I think Wit got accused for like pissing on a bus or something stupid like that. And I think it gave them like a big negative rep. And then
Is
And then
that
they like,
all? Is that like within the scene? Because
yeah.
I know when they first released, as far as like being a fan of music, right, and like hearing them come out,
Mhm.
their new metalcore shit was not flying, man. That's when they came out and they
Oh
were straight new
no, that's what.
metalcore.
See, that's what I'm talking. Like since post of that album, I guess. They definitely like figured it out. I
Okay,
think.
yeah.
And if anyone's listened to the like acoustic style EP that they put out, it's like every song is like really really good.
They did an EP like Kill the Sun or something
Yeah,
recently. Like yeah, that one wasn't bad. And
it's
I
great.
actually was talking to because there's another couple bands that were in like that new metalcore genre that
Mhm.
have put out a couple albums that have blown me away.
Yeah,
Thornhill was one of them.
yeah,
Thornhill was a
yeah.
fucking their most recent album. Fuck, son, so good. And I never expected that out of a new metalcore band, right? Or one of these newer bands coming up. And I was also surprised with Cane Hill's EP.
Yeah,
But again, I never jived with them real early on. I don't even know that they were on Warped Tour with Matt and like
yeah,
a next big thing. I personally thought they were bigger. I thought a lot of people were behind Cane Hill
yeah.
and really
I
making
did
it work.
too. Honestly, because I pushed for them. I pushed for them to be on Asking's headliner. And I don't know when, politics, whatever. But yeah, I think that I don't know what happened, man. I really don't. They're awesome dudes. They're all like super nice, down to earth. They're all great at their instruments. They all practice like every day. Like they should be a bigger band, and I hope that they get somewhere soon.
The only other band I would ask that question since 2016 Warped Tour, where you at? And I don't believe in acoustic albums. They don't exist to me. So I See Stars. What the fuck, man? How do you drop Treehouse, this amazing, maybe your best record ever, and then 2 years later we get an acoustic version, and it's 2020 and we haven't heard shit.
Yep. I
Yeah,
don't know. I think that band started
that
falling
band's been
apart a
cursed.
long time ago.
Yeah.
They're
Always had
so
that.
good.
And the Oliver brothers are like the amazing people. They're great musicians, and I don't think that they're like in it anymore. They obviously were at one point, and then it didn't work out. And like I don't know. I feel like they're like over trying I See Stars.
They were a band that first album kind of 3D, right? It was right fucking metalcore.
They had a
back in
slow
there,
start.
February's product. No, that start was good because I remember they did
3D
Save the
was
Cheerleader.
okay, but the second album was
The
terrible.
End of the World
and
Party
they,
sucked.
Yeah.
And they
what
talked
I
about
was what I was told was that they had a friend produce the record. They figured he was well equipped.
Yep.
He did the record. He did half the record. It sucked, and they had to take it to someone else to finish the record and bail them out. And when they did, it was like, "Hey, here's this jumbled pile of mess. Can you make a good record out of it?"
Yeah.
And what you got was that record. What was it? The End of the World Party.
Mhm.
it. Yeah.
And so they said straight up, we put out a record that nobody wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And
But then you
when
have
they released
10,000
those
feet.
next records and Digital Renegade and New Demons and the remix records, that's them digging themselves out of a hole.
Yeah.
And phenomenal albums. Digital
Yes.
Renegade. Digital
Yeah.
Renegade took. Okay, so I didn't like the End of the World Party, right? And I wasn't sold on 3D just because they were young.
It's
I thought that they
generic.
sounded too much
Of
like
course,
Attack Attack,
yeah.
too much like Devil's Product. They were trying to ride coattails. And
very
then the End of the World Party, just that like kind of put the nail in the coffin for me. I was like, oh, listen to this. This is bullshit. It's not even a decent album. Then Digital Renegade came out. Blown away by that.
Murder
Then
Mittens.
they also got
Dude,
into like the
so
whole
good.
anonymous. They got into the anonymous thing, and they got like super fucking woke in a lot of their shit and a lot of their lyrics.
Yep.
And then they fucking put out New Demons. New Demons to this day is in my probably top 20 albums.
I love
It is
it.
front
Real
to
good.
back. Aside from the intro being way fucking louder than the whole fucking album, it's a phenomenal fucking album. And I think that I was disappointed when the Screamer left, but Treehouse again.
I was
To
not.
not have a Screamer and then to put out an album like that, fuck, it was so good. And yeah, they've just kind of fallen flat.
I think that was the best move they made, and also one that hurt them the most was kicking that shit.
They did it twice. It was the same.
Yeah.
It was
It-
the
it-
same Screamer from the original
I think his name
3D
is
album.
Zach.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally, but if
Yes.
you're in and out of a band twice, it's got to be you, my man.
It was just
And he also, a little side note, he had a side project that he released 2 songs under. He released the 2 songs right after he got kicked out, and he tried making an Icy Stars style sound, but both songs lyrically were aimed at like dissing Icy Stars, and that was his big, like, a lot of people, and it was, I remember it being in Reddit, a bunch of people were like, bro, you can't, one song, cool, we get it,
Yeah.
you're not in the band anymore, you're kind of grudged about it, you got some shit to get off your chest, that's fine. Both songs being about Icy Stars, and then, like, he never took off. Yeah, and he never took off after that, probably for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But to also see, you know, you saw Treehouse, and Treehouse was really good, so you kind of expected a new sound and a new wave of Icy Stars. But yeah, now it's flat, and that was like 4 years ago. I'm pretty sure that came out in like 2017 or 16.
Yeah,
dude, and I would love to do an entire podcast about failed side projects, because like when you said that like he ripped off their sound and he's dissing them, it's like, oh god, 3 names popping into my head because they did the same thing.
Yep.
It's so funny that those were the 2 bands that you chose, because I've literally done a show with both of those bands in this year.
Damn. What was the other band?
Icy Stars and Cane Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. I only got to go on one tour this year, and it was so random.
What did you
random
do?
Canadian tour that started in Saskatchewan. R.I.P. me.
What did you do with Icy Stars recently? What did they do?
It was one of those like Rocklahoma or Rock USA festivals in the middle of nowhere.
And full band? They were doing their whole thing? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least they're doing something. I guess.
One of those shows in the middle of nowhere that means everything to the people that live in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, those shows.
Perfect.
The louder than life shows and the.
That's Carolina Rebellion, because it's like people wait all year to go to it. It's like, I don't care who's playing, I'm gonna go see him. Oh, it's System of a Down, well, shit fire. Oh, it's Disturbed, well, fuck me, I'm going. Yeah. I have a problem going to big festivals like that and being in a crowd. Speaking of being in a crowd and being socially awkward, the new Protest the Hero record.
Phenomenal.
Did you guys listen to this?
I have not.
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad I sent you notes. Bryan.
I did.
That wasn't in a note.
Oh,
dang. Right now, I'm gonna fact check you right now.
Do it. I dare you.
Let's do it. Dude, this is my favorite part.
I know I brought it up.
When we stump ass Matt. When we get Matt stumped.
Yeah, stump
me.
me.
Dude. Tell him what's
stump
up.
Me. Oh, yeah.
Let's hear it.
Oh, fuck. You're going to make me stump?
Reddit.
Oh, yeah.
Currents. Oh, my God. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's right, bitch. That's right. That's right.
There was too many. How was I supposed to listen to 6 albums today?
I don't know. Breeze through them like I do. So the Protest the Hero record, when I heard the singles, I started shitting on them because that's the type of guy I am. And I also got, like, Protest the Hero has me hyped because of the vocals and the Viking metal style. Well, this feels more like a rock record than a metal record. I don't hear the guitars very well, so the mix I have a problem with. Vocally, it does impress me where I thought it was going to lack. I thought that his vocals didn't have any power behind them. I was wrong. They do. They're just a lot more raw. So you're hearing him, whatever his name is.
Sick.
Yeah, Roddy.
I was definitely a Protest the Hero fan at one point.
I mean, I loved it. I am a big Protest the Hero fan. What I really like about them is the fact that their creative approach towards their albums. So they stopped doing they got off a label quite some time ago, and they released Violation under an entire like crowdfunded thing, right?
Oh,
and that was phenomenal. And then they did their most recent thing, Pacific Myth, which was more of like a subscription service. So what they did is over the span of 6 months, they released an album. You could sign up on Bandcamp with a subscription service from them, and you would get a song a month plus some song notes, some like creative behind the scenes stuff, and then the instrumental version. And then after all that came out, they released it as like a full release. And now you have like their first official album that they've actually put some time and some effort into, that they crowdfunded themselves. I mean, this goes to show how strong of a base Protest has when they can completely crowdfund their albums. I think they did $100,000 or $120,000 for this one.
Cult fans, dude.
And I mean, come on, if that doesn't say something about what they're doing, then I don't know what does. And for them to put out a consistent album, I mean, I think it sticks with what Protest has done in the past. We're not going to get fucking Sequoia Throne. We're not going to get fucking Gallup Meets the Earth. We're not going to get that because they're growing up. They're maturing. I still think it's a solid Protest the Hero sound. I think it's, yeah. And it's fresh too, because you're not getting that kind of like, you're not getting that real atmospheric Viking metal, as Matt wants to call it, kind of sound right now that you're familiar with, and it's still going to have the heavy, the breakdowns, the intricate, technical aspects to it. What do you got to fucking say, Matt?
Yeah, you mentioned growing up. I just wanted to bring up that I prefer bands not do that.
Oh, okay, cool.
I mean, I prefer that you grow up and like not molest like 14-year-old fans. That would be cool.
Have you seen I Think You Should Leave?
Yes.
On Netflix?
What the hell does that mean?
Oh, of course you haven't.
Oh no.
I only have a subscription to WWE Network, so unless it's SummerSlam '89, I don't know what the fuck
So
you're talking
funny.
about.
There's a bit that they do where he's like going on like a date with like a new chick, and she's like talking about how she like only wants to hear all of like the old songs and doesn't want to hear any of the new stuff, and it's like a little like debate between them. That just reminded me of it.
That's funny because there are some bands that I go to see that it's like, God, just play the old shit.
Yeah,
like, okay.
I mean, of course you do. You go to see Aerosmith, you don't want to hear a new song. Like,
if I went to see
we
the
don't go
Devil
to
Wears
see
Prada
Aerosmith.
right now, I would be that fucking 30-something-year-old emo kid saying, just play the shit from Plagues.
HTML rules, dude. HTML rules.
All I want to hear is Dear Love, Plagues, maybe a couple songs off Zombies, and that's it. Shut up.
I feel like
forever.
that's all anybody wants to hear is Zombie.
No, because they love that Roots Above, Branches Below shit that I don't vibe with.
Fair.
Roots above, sir? Fuck you.
Yeah, third on the list, Brian. Though what?
Second?
Fourth on the list.
Second?
Zombie's number one for me.
Okay, Zombie. Shouts to the Zombie EP because when
Musically,
they went mainstream and signed to Warner, and they gave you the Zombie EP as like their heaviest record ever.
Yes.
And it was like an ode to the, hey, here's our core fan base. Let's give them something they like because we know they'll hate Dead Throne. And what do you know? I hated Dead Throne.
Oh,
like
fuck you. Death Throne was great. 818 is fucking phenomenal. You
Sorry,
say
I don't like
shit.
Kill Switch Engage and mainstream metal.
You say shit about that Alien EP, and I will come through the screen and I will rip your fucking nuts off.
Oh,
You
yeah?
understand me, sir?
Didn't
Yeah.
like it. The
Yeah, I
Space
bet you
EP
didn't.
was fucking
Yeah.
terrible. Garbage. Worst record they've ever done. Facts. Jeremy DePoister could be
about to
right in
blow
front
up.
of me right now, and I'd tell him that Space EP was crap, and he'd be like, you know what? I agree. Let's pray together. Sorry, not sorry. They're like the best metalcore band ever. Yeah, I said it. And that Space EP was trash. I was excited for them to go back to Rise, and it was terrible. So listener feedback. Adam, I'm fucking drunk. Amber Maelstrom wants to know, do you have a concert that you were disappointed? Why? If so, why? So many, Amber.
I have several. Yes. Where do we
God,
start?
where do I start? Every
Austin.
time I've seen We Came as Romans.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna be quiet on that one.
Yeah, everyone that's friends with Kyle and all of them, they're always quiet when I say that.
No, I've just worked for. There's very few. There's like probably no bands that I would like. Actually, I take that back. There's a couple of bands I speak negatively about that I've worked for, but they're not one of them because they've always been great to me.
And I would never force you to speak awful about any of the bands you work for. I mean, mainly because all the bands you work for are the bands I worship.
Fair. That's okay. I'll say what I need to.
I will say that in this genre of like core and metal, the worst live band that I've ever fucking seen.
Taking Back Sunday.
How
Ooh.
fucking dare you, sir?
I
I'm
don't
kicking
like
him out.
them, so I
I'm
don't
kicking
care
him
about
out.
that.
I'm
Yeah,
kicking
no,
him
that
out.
doesn't even offend me. Sworn In. I wanted them
yeah.
to be good so bad.
Yeah.
They headlined and they played 4 songs. That's 1, 2, 3. That's only 4 more songs than I played that night.
That's 20 minutes.
Dude, it wasn't. Have you ever heard Sworn In? Their songs
Yeah,
like a minute and a half
I love
long.
Sworn In. Yeah, and they were not very good live, but the albums
The albums are great.
still listen to like all the
Sworn
time.
In.
Death Card was great.
Snake Eyes is insanely sick.
Snake
Yeah.
Eyes is phenomenal.
They perform it like shit. I'll upload it one day.
I have I have several that are horrible, but one that stands out. Matt's gonna know about this because we attended this one together. Me and Matt back in 2008 went and saw a Static Lullabies Rattlesnake CD release show at the Knitting Factory in Los Angeles.
Fuck.
Oh, Amber had another good one. Census Failed. That's probably in my top 3 worst bands I've ever seen live.
Hey,
Shouts to Buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, really? Do you not like Census Fail for any other reason?
No, I've seen them a lot.
Yeah.
I don't like
They
them
just don't
because
get
all
love,
my
dude.
friends liked them and I never did.
They just don't get any love, especially at Warped Tour. They're always complaining about how they're not on main stage.
Try, like on stage, they just like don't care, which bothers
Because
me.
they're cycling through members constantly. There's been 2 dudes, Buddy and the guitarist, are the
Yeah.
only people that have stuck through that band, and they always got like rotating people. And when you have rotating people like that, let's be clear, the presence on stage is a mix. Like you don't get anything consistent
Yeah.
because you don't have that chemistry, right? And that's what sucks. So with that being said, let's go to this fucking fuckfest of chemistry we had with the Static Lullaby.
Yes.
So we see 3 bands at a Static Lullaby CD release party.
Each who have their own fucked up set in a way. Because Watch Out There's Ghost, Jordan Blake was fucked up.
But hey, Lower D.
Lower D was great, but
set,
Matt tripped and fell onto me, and I had to reach out and hold him upright, or he would have fell.
Surfing.
No, he was not crowd surfing among 5 people, Brian.
Crowd surfing.
It was invite only. There was only like 40 people in the building.
Yeah, that is true. So 15 people were watching Lower Definition. One person was throwing down in the pit. This guy, and that's
you don't throw down in a pit with industry people.
Well, I did. And so there was Lower Definition that had a phenomenal set. They were beautiful. They sounded amazing. Shout out to Lower D. And then a Static Lullaby comes on. A Static Lullaby comes on, and they're going to play their new album, Rattlesnake. Of course, they're going to give us 2009.
Okay.
2008, maybe.
It had to be 8 because Rattlesnake was 08.
Yeah, and Greatest of Lost Arts came out in 2008.
Phil still in Static?
Phil was still in it. He didn't leave for Of Mice and Men yet.
No.
Okay.
And so, and then Lower G, of course, had fucking, what's his face, Santino in it, right? So,
yeah.
Valentino.
Hey,
thanks for quitting Lower D, bro. Really appreciate you ruining my favorite band and getting a DUI. Props.
Yeah, let's be real. And so we get this half mediocre drunk Static Lullaby playing for 45 fucking minutes, right? And then they drop a bomb on us. They say, hey guys, we've done a cover.
Oh no.
Their most popular song at the time.
Their most popular song ever, probably.
Ever.
If you look on their fucking tracks, they covered Britney
let me
Spears'
check their IMDb.
Toxic. They covered Toxic. But do you know what they fucking did, Austin? Are you ready for the audacity of this goddamn band?
Please don't
They said, hey guys, we've done this cover. Toxic. You guys know it. You're gonna love it. They plugged their fucking iPod into the PA and played it over the fucking PA.
They literally got ready to strum a guitar, ready to hit the drums, and then stopped, got up, and walked off stage.
Walked off the stage and played it over their the cover over the PA.
As a joke, because it's all industry people.
Fair. That's
bar from my mouth.
That's amazing.
Also, Static Lullaby celebrating their 30th. Oh, wait, no, they're not, because they broke the fuck up after that.
I do love when that's kind of shitty, but I do love when bands kind of play into like the comedic aspect and do shit like that.
You know what I love is when bands from Chino steal their own van and merch supply to write it off as insurance. Shouts to Joe and a Static Lullaby. Hey, thought I forgot.
Whoa.
Here's a fun fact: Rattlesnake was also their last release, so maybe the Toxic cover didn't do it for him.
I don't remember who it was, but we talked to a girl that night, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I hooked up with Joe," and then I told this story again to some band dude, and he goes, "Wow, you're in a big fucking club." And I just thought that shit was funny. For every girl that brags about what vocalist they hooked up with, congratulations, you're in a huge club. It's like bigger than the BMG CD club. Get 12 CDs for a penny type shit.
I will say that one thing I hated to see at a show, we have Amber mentioning Atreyu in the comments over here about Atreyu and Census Fail. I went to Atreyu's 10-year anniversary of the fucking album with Right Side of the Bed on it, whatever the fuck the album was. Yeah. Not not the Facade of Your Porcelain Beauty, but
was it Will Sasso, their drummer?
Probably. And they closed Will Sasso. They closed. Best Stone Cold impersonation of all time, too, by the way. They closed with their cover of Shot Through the Heart, which I absolutely hate. That's my least favorite cover.
Oh, gotta love original material.
That is my least favorite cover of all time, done by any band. Shot Through the Heart by fucking Atreyu.
That's
no, they're fucking terrible.
Yeah, if you want to commit on stage suicide, play that song for sure.
God. That reminds me of when No Bragging Rights would cover Bon Jovi.
Oh, hey, no! Shout out to No Bragging Rights though. NBR, son. Let's be real here.
Covers can be done tastefully.
Best live cover I've ever seen. Also, Still Fly.
Yes. Also, I don't really like bands getting famous off of covers.
Nope.
I think that's kind of whack.
Case in point,
I did not know that Faith was a George Michael song after Limp Bizkit covered it. I had no idea. Thought it was a
and
Limp Bizkit song.
that's done tastefully. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you can,
Orgy.
if you can put out a cover song,
Blue Monday? We talking about some Blue Monday?
it, like thinks that that's the original, you've done it.
You know what sucks though is that
I see a ship in the harbor. Go ahead.
we're gonna talk about both of that though, because to the one degree, Limp Bizkit had bangers after Faith, because Faith was like their fucking main like song. Then they came out, right.
Okay.
You look at Orgy, Blue Monday blew up, and then they did She Dreams in Digital. Phenomenal song. They fell off.
Better than nothing. I really like Orgy, so I'm sorry.
love
They
Orgy.
just like that
love
whole
it.
like dudes wearing lipstick and playing metal just like hit a nerve with me.
Adema, Orgy.
Adema. Oh my god.
Yes, dude. Adema,
That's a
Orgy,
deep cut.
fucking.
Yo,
who else is
Adema.
there?
I love Adema. I love how cringy they are.
I remember
Yes.
I learned about Adema because of the Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance video game.
You are the 30th person to tell me that, because everyone that's like that didn't grow up with like, oh yeah, it's Jonathan Davis Jr.
Yeah.
They all tell me, oh, the
His
Mortal
brother.
Kombat soundtrack is what taught me about Adema, and I'm
It
thinking
is.
like, no, it's because their song says "I'll get inside you" twice before it starts.
That is
I'll get
true.
inside you.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
no,
little
it was
creepy.
definitely that video game that brought me into the Adema world and that type of music.
Hey, shout out to Deadly Alliance. Fucking game
Yes.
hard.
Thank you,
son.
Mortal
Oh
Kombat.
my god.
Hard.
While we're talking about shitty bands and shitty performances, I didn't actually watch their set to know if it sucked, but I did find it really funny that when A Day to Remember was coming up, they were the direct support on the tour for The Sleeping, and when it came time for The Sleeping to headline, everyone walked out.
How
Yes.
dare
Soma
you?
San Diego,
How dare you?
everybody left after A Day to Remember because they were
20
so
of us.
exhausted for going so goddamn hard, and there were
20 of
only
us.
2 rows of people left.
A Day to
watch The
Remember was
Sleeping.
known for that, bro. When they were coming up, I remember going to see A Day to Remember before they were anybody.
They played in
yeah.
our
In
hometown.
Ocala, and like they stole the show no matter who was playing.
When they
Yeah.
were on their 200 little do-yourself tour, the
Mhm.
shows that they did by
Before
themselves.
they headlined.
And they were signed to Indianola.
Yep.
They came to our hometown of Indio, California, and they played at a fucking pizza shop for like a
Amazing.
Halloween show.
Wasn't it like them and I Set to Kill?
It wasn't I Set to Kill. Fuck. It's in my comments on like a Facebook post. I'll find it. But anyways, they came through. They played at a Halloween show. Everybody fucking loved them. That same exact show that they played with The Sleeping in at Soma in San Diego, they actually showed up late. And they were told they like basically told the crowd, hey, A Day to Remember is gonna go on right before The Sleeping. They're not gonna play. They were supposed to play like second or third on the lineup, and they ended up going on the co-headlining slot because they were late. They
Okay.
weren't fucking late. No, they weren't fucking late.
They played
They
it?
knew that they
That's not what
wanted to
happened.
have a fucking 500 max capacity on Soma's side stage, and that the only way that they could get that without being the headliner was being right before the fucking headliner. And this show was bananas.
Damn.
BANANAS, bananas. It was fucking madness. And then for whatever reason, everybody decides they want to go out to the merch booth and try to suck Jeremy's dick while The Sleeping's playing. and
You're not gonna go
nobody-
suck Jeremy McKinnon's dick like I
Yeah,
am, bro.
come on,
I'm gonna
dude.
get my
Nobody
fucking
watched the
popcorn
fucking
autograph.
Sleeping. Nobody watched. He got down in the middle of the crowd and played acoustic guitar with like 20 people around him. It was
You
beautiful.
know why I don't trust Jeremy? Because back then I asked him, hey bro, how does Victory Records treat you? And he said, good.
Well, yeah, no
Fucking
shit, Sherlock.
liar. Fucking liar. Shouts to Darkness Divided.
That's why you don't trust them. I love that.
Shouts to Derek Kendall in the chat. He said the curse by Atreyu is trash. Yes, it was. Brandon
Shout out.
Sellers-
No, it's
Yeah,
not Brandon Saller. It's Will Sasso. Amber, get with it.
Yeah. Will Sasso from Mad TV is their drummer. Duh. Obvious. 2 more albums to review. We're already over time, so I'm gonna make this review quick. Of Lamb of God, self-titled. My
Lamb of
personal opinion on this record, it's a record.
Yeah. Yes. Also true. I do like it. I am a Lamb of God fan, and I
It
think
sounds like Lamb of God, doesn't it?
But yeah, that's kind of how I felt about all of these albums. Like, I feel like I've heard this song before.
Oh, this sounds like Protest. Oh,
You
this sounds like Lamb of God.
Yeah.
Oh, this sounds like Emmure.
Which is also why you stick to these bands and become fans of them. But also, like, at some
Give us-
point,
give us
you've
something
just
fresh.
heard enough, kind of. You know what I mean?
I made fun of the Black Dahlia murder a couple weeks ago because they've been giving us the same record for the past 15 years. But in the same sense, I look at Emmure, a band who I can only really pinpoint 2 albums as a significant progression in their sound. And while I enjoy those records, I like their whole discography and I don't really need anything new from them. So with some bands, you just kind of like, I feel like a lot of fickle scene kids fall in love with the band. They're heavy. They do all the cool shit. The next record, they try to do something different, quote unquote. They try to go mainstream. They try to add this genre.
Yeah.
And it turns them off. Or they add more clean singing. Or they cut out the breakdowns. And so that fickle scene kid then hates them. I've been there before because there's been a ton of bands that do that shit, change their style, like Parkway Drive.
Oh,
Deep
my God,
Blue
yeah.
was an incredible record.
Oh,
Had some of the
fuck
best
you.
drums I ever heard. Shut the fuck up. By the time they dropped the Atlas record and incorporated punk, I hated it. I wanted nothing to do with it.
That was a rough album for me also, because I am a big Parkway fan. And yeah,
It's
that was
hard to
definitely like
follow up a
Yeah.
near classic record.
Oh, yo, you're silent, my guy.
Oh, did you just mute yourself?
I think you're muted. I don't know if you can hear us. We can't hear you. You're talking and cannot hear you.
Oh man,
Uh,
we had such a good string.
Nope, still can't nothing. Maybe check your mic on like the actual like screen thing. No. Oh, there
Oh,
you go.
there we go.
You're back. You're back. Here we go.
Are we
Oh.
good?
There you
Yeah.
go. Yep, we're fine.
Okay. I like just touch the. I must have a short in my headphones. Those are old.
Okay,
Don't
so,
lie, bro. You
about,
ain't gotta lie to kick it.
about Parkway, we didn't get any of that. You're a Parkway fan?
No, yeah, I'm a Parkway fan, but that album was like a little bit of a stretch for me for sure. And then their new albums, like totally off the Richter scale, pirate metal.
Okay, pirate metal's a legit genre, and I've learned that I don't like it.
That's Parkway. Parkway's new album is pirate metal.
There's not a lot of times when a band like, okay, if you're a deathcore band and you incorporate new metal like the way Suicide Silence did when that Crown record EP came out, that was really good. That was a good blend. Other bands, it's difficult to incorporate mainstream styles and pop music when you are so aggressive and loud. It's difficult. If you're not Issues or Palisades where you already have that blend down, it's something fucking difficult to do.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Palisades.
Oh, they did break up?
Changed
No, I
too
don't know.
fast are like doomed.
I can only hope.
Shut up, Brian. Hey, did Palisades really break up?
I can only hope. I'm gonna look it up.
What do you know, Austin?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
He probably
Oh,
doesn't care.
man. Damn it. Shouts to Palisades. I like them. Shouts to Lou.
Nope.
Shout
I
out to
can't like them?
shout out to Lou. I fuck with-
Yeah. Yeah, fucking shout out to Lou.
I like Lou.
I like those
Palisades
records.
doesn't. Oh yeah, they do. I was gonna say they don't have a Wikipedia. They don't matter.
Shouts to Amber Maelstrom again with a good point. Eye of the Tiger cover by Devil You Know was awful for me. Sadly, their vocalist is Howard Jones. Ex Killswitch Engage. Crucify me, but his vocals have crapped out.
I
So
don't-
the
I meet you.
Devil You Know is a mainstream band. Like, they're gonna have that mainstream style.
What about Killswitch Engage's Holy Diver? I gotta throw that up there. That was probably
Holy
one of the best covers.
Diver!
Yes.
That's one of the best covers out there. And the
One of
video
the
they
best
did the whole
bands
package.
out there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're great.
Trying to think of a good cover. 2 come to mind. I don't know if they're good, but they're interesting. Sea of Treachery, Misery Business cover.
The original, not the re-record.
Wow.
The original's
I
good.
haven't
The
heard
re-record sucks.
Game in a long time.
A lot of people haven't.
So they were real weird because they fucking did Welcome to Wonderland, which was a phenomenal fucking album. But then they did like one song in like 2012 and they're like, we're back. And they
Yeah.
never fucking came back. And then they did another one song in like 2016. We're back. And never came fucking back. So it's like, bro, where you? Where the
That's
fuck?
like all the times at the Skyline said they were back. You're not back when you record one song.
Yeah, that just means you're. I don't know.
You were just here. You
Yeah.
weren't back. You were just here for another minute.
It's something.
Cumulative 15 minutes.
Covers for me, I mean, Still Fly by the Devil Wears Prada is probably one of the cleanest, especially live. I mean, to fucking pull that song off, you're fucking, that's bananas, man. And I'm not the biggest Ice Nine Kills fan, but their cover of Animal by Maroon 5 is really good.
I haven't heard that. I wonder if they play it live.
It was on like a Pop Goes whatever album.
Oh,
Suicide Silence covered the Deftones Passenger, so that was sick as shit. I also like when Rings of Saturn covered Suicide Silence's "No Pity for a Coward" because they use a
so sick.
yeah they use well they're sick on the album, they're fucking terrible live, but
Oh, really?
they're just I got a beef with
It's
them
just
because they
guitarist
fucking
and
stand
fucking
there.
Reds.
Like, how are you gonna stand there, play this wild ass music, and not fucking move at all? Like,
That's
Because
why.
it's hard. Because it's hard,
I
Matt.
don't give
That's
a.
why.
Then don't fucking write hard music and play a show. Like, look, two things that killed Rings of Saturn for me. Well, three. One, Lucas is a fucking asshole. Fact. Two, you record a new album and then you go out on tour to promote said album and you can't perform a single goddamn song off it because you didn't get the guys together to practice them. Shame on you. You're a fucking fraud of a band. They're a cash cow. They're only in it for merch. Like, the band is like a studio band that occasionally tours. But then you go see them live. Even if they nail it live, they perform flawlessly. They fucking stand there. Nobody moves. Fucking move.
It's just
Somebody
boring.
move.
Derek Kendall says, "Can we talk about? I believe it's Between the Buried and Me's cover album. I didn't even know they
BT
did a
Bam's
cover.
cover CD.
I didn't even know they did one. But
Yeah,
speaking of
I
cover
didn't know they
CDs
did one either. Fuck.
Speaking of cover CDs, what about fucking Writer's Block by Evergreen Terrace? They got fucking sued by U2.
Yeah.
Eat a dick, U2.
Wasn't that at like the end of Evergreen Terrace's run?
No, that was like their second album. Writer's Block
Oh,
was like their
I only
third
like the
album.
Wolf Biker album.
That was the end of their reign.
The most pretentious guitarist of all time.
Evergreen Terrace?
No, Edge from U2.
Oh, I mean, we
I
all saw
was
the
gonna
South
say
Park
Paige
episode.
Hamilton.
Gotta be the most pretentious of all time.
Probably.
I thought Paige Hamilton from Helmet was pretty pretentious because I have a friend of mine who toured with them. He had never heard of Helmet before. And they said, "You don't know who Paige Hamilton is?" And he goes, "No, who's that?" And they fucking ridiculed him. And it's like, yo, give the boy a break. Like, he's just driving for you. Like, fuck, you don't need to know your music.
That's great.
I mean, he kept you alive, you old fucking bastards.
As long as not a racist dickhead, then he's fine.
Yeah, I prefer you not to be racist if you tour. Speaking of Chuck E. Cheese, the last album that I was going to review is from a friend of ours. He films The Clouds. They released was this a debut?
It was not their debut, no, but it is. It's
a follow-up to their unheard of previous release. This one's called Node.
Shout out to Xavier.
Shouts out to Xavier. Shouts out to my man Jacob Garcia who made our intro music. Big dick in it. Shouts out to our webmaster.
He said that that Between the Buried and Me covers mostly 80s hair metal. I bet it's sick.
Oh, so they covered some
Probably.
Asking Alexandria. Perfect.
Becca Manley says HFTC, so apparently he films The Clouds, has some fans. Musically, I couldn't ask this band to do anything more. It's fucking incredible. I do find a lot of resemblance to other progressive gent bands like a North Lane. If I'm not mistaken, didn't North Lane drop an album called Node?
Yes.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Okay.
No, a song called Node. I don't think the album is called Node.
Okay,
Maybe it
well,
is.
it's really funny that their styles are similar, and then they did that. That was funny to me.
Yeah, they are very kind of like metalcore genty sounding. Not necessarily genty, but they do have like that progressive kind of gent sound to them. I love it. And the reason I love it is not only are they friends of ours and we know them personally.
Oh, it was an album.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Told
yeah.
you.
Xavier is a good friend of mine. He used to play with our band back in the day. He's been fucking in music nonstop for the last 10 plus years, and him and all these guys in the band are phenomenal. Jacob is a phenomenal guitarist. And what's really cool is they're from just a small desert town, and they've put together a really unique sound that bands around that area do not have. They're doing it consistently. They're playing shows. They're getting a huge following behind them. They just hit 10,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. So
their website looks similar to ours because we use the same people.
There you go.
They do
and
it
they're just
professionally. Like, they're a real band. I really enjoy them. They're on iTunes. They're on Spotify. It's melodic. It's ambient. It's not over the top heavy, but it's that music that if you like heavy music, this is going to be your soft spot. I'd like to pick their brain as to like who influenced the sound because I hear a ton of different bands in it.
Dude,
if you're
Jacob's
a fan
all over
of
the place. Jacob's into the most extreme shit, man. He's super into.
He's weird because he likes slam metal and then he plays this smart shit.
Yep, super into fucking Slam, loves Ingested, all about Slam World, like fucking all about it, man.
If they were selling CDs at Target, or if Hot Topic still sold CDs like the good old days, I think it would have a sticker on the front that said, "For fans of North Lane, Invent, Animate, and maybe, just maybe, Misery Signals." Am I wrong on that one?
No, definitely very mathy, especially their song Hate Speech. It's only a minute and a half long, and it's fucking nonsense. It's like the
God, I
most
love a minute and a half.
off-timed riffs. Yes, and it's right in the middle, or it's like right towards the end of the record. So, and it opens up with this beautiful like Bible verse from like this Southern kid. And
That's
he's
the
just
kind of
like,
song I'm gonna play in the
oh, it's
bedroom.
beautiful. And they also released the instrumental version of the album on Spotify. So if you just want to hear the musicality to it, it's a beautiful listen.
Ever heard of Glass Casket? Yes, that's what my piece of shit aunt was buried in.
Oh.
Yeah, I really
Boom,
enjoyed
boom,
He
boom.
Films the Clouds. I think people should pick it up if you're a fan of gent or progressive, or if you are a big metalcore fan, but your metalcore isn't smart enough. Smarten it up. He Films the Clouds.
Love it.
Austin didn't listen to it, so shouts to
Are
that.
we not going to talk Currents or Bring Me?
So I didn't listen to this Bring Me song because I want the whole thing as a product. But if we're gonna talk Currents, and shouts to Currents, Connecticut Metalcore, they were supposed to be on the show tonight, but they were busy recording more bouncy gent metal. So
When you do listen to the new Bring Me album, make sure you just watch the video for it.
yeah, I wanted
It was
to
good.
do something more than just play it off iTunes, because
Yeah.
So-
Bring Me is like one of those bands that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
So I mean, the reason I listened to it is because I think everybody was expecting this to be the heavy song, right? Oh my God, he's bringing the gutturals back. We're getting some deep and fucking super brutal. Bring me, what's
Yeah.
gonna happen? And then there's nothing on this album, right? He kind of has a scream that leads into the bridge, and then it's a repetitive chorus. So it's very new. Bring me, very fucking. We're not getting anything crazy out of it, but they did announce that their new release is going to be 4 releases. So something similar to like a Thrice or an Acacia Strain. We're getting several songs in different chunks, and it's called like Post-Human or something, I believe is what it's called.
Oh,
Post-Human.
God damn it! Just give me a fucking record with 10 songs on it. What's the problem?
He says so. According to them, the first release is going to be the most aggressive and most heavy, and so maybe that's where we may not see Parasite Eve on the first of the 4, right? But apparently the heaviness is coming. I've been telling people within the chat rooms to be patient because hey, we've heard the recordings. He is doing it. They're bringing it back. It doesn't have to be the first release. Come on, pump the brakes a little bit. Let them warm us up a little bit. They're on a wave that's not the old Bring Me. So to just immediately, I was afraid that if they were going to release a song and it was going to be the brutal one, that we were only going to get 1 or 2 of them. But now that they're telling us they're giving us 4 different releases and the first one is going to be all heavy and all brutal, beautiful. Bring it on. I'm ready for it.
I think that Bring Me is like one of those bands that really has like marketing and
They
like,
transcend.
progress like in the pocket. They've figured it out like early on.
They're bigger than they ever could have been sticking with that sound, and they've done it well. They've matured well. They're
Insanely.
not they're just and like them for what they are. They're musicians and they're artists, and Ollie, if anything,
between Ollie and Jordan Fish, that band is like limitless.
yes. And Ollie is just, I mean, come on, man. You're getting somebody who's changed his life literally in front of his fans, from being a 16, 17-year-old kid and to
Starting
stardom.
Drop Dead and
Yes, dude, yeah.
everything. Yeah, I totally agree.
Love it.
Also, shouts to Six Lack, aka Black, who dropped a record this week.
Very good.
I also dig the Jack Harlow song "What's Poppin' remix featuring DaBaby and Tory Lanez. If you like songs like that or all the sick-ass metal tracks we've been talking about, then you would love the episode 12 playlist that is available at Spotify. Just search I Hate the Scene. While you're there, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and then download all our fucking playlists, because we're going to have a playlist to correspond with every episode. You can also check out the What We Listen To playlist, which is a huge collective of songs that we dig right now.
Sick.
Austin, where can they find you on Instagram, Twitter, OnlyFans, Tumblr, Penguin Club?
At Austin Michael with 2 A's and 2 M's. And then Twitter is at Big Frenchie. And that's
Why?
Why? I don't know. Because I was going to be Lil Frenchie and that was taken. So I had to go with Big French.
His name doesn't have anything to do with that.
Well,
Hey,
I mean,
little Frenchie.
I'm French, dog. So,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Matt, fucking get fucking educated, sir. Goddamn,
This
dude.
this
Making fun
motherfucker
of our
just like
guests.
plays it off like I'm racially insensitive. Oh, French dog. Oh, oui.
Yeah, my last name's Belanger.
Belanger. It's Belanger, sir.
That's how people from Texas say it.
Belanger.
Belanger.
Yeah,
Baloney.
I'll have a barbacoa and Belanger
Belanger
taco,
sandwich.
pretty much.
and I want that on flour.
You got anything coming up, man? Any tours you're doing? Any tech work you're doing? What do you got?
New
coming up?
album.
I wish. No, nothing new. Nothing in the schedule. All of the tours have been quote unquote rescheduled, but we haven't heard anything. So
I did have a press pass to Kurt Travis's show this weekend, and they emailed me today, let me know it was canceled. I was like,
Fuck. I was holding on hope for that because that would have been a good interview. Kurt Travis is a super weird, interesting dude.
yes,
I actually didn't even know I had a press pass until I got the email today saying it was off.
That's
I was
because
like,
anyone
oh,
that's
no.
affiliated with Dance Gavin, when they come within 20 miles of you, they just send you a press pass.
What happened?
no, I didn't realize you said press pass. I was asking if you we're paying for a ticket or something.
Oh, we don't pay for tickets. We don't support the scene. We just talk about it.
That's fair.
We've done our fucking we've put in our time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Look, I pay $10 a month to Apple Music, so I don't need to support these artists anymore.
Yeah, I play 15.
Why?
Oh,
Family plan. Come on.
Oh.
shit. Hey, if you're
I don't have a family. Shouts to having no kids.
Shouts out to my aunt in the glass casket.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay.
Is she the singer or the guitarist?
Fun fact, my aunt killed my uncle and I fucking hate her even though she gave me a Barry Bonds autograph. But fuck that bitch.
Yo, she really killed your uncle, dog?
Yeah, she did. That's a whole nother podcast episode though.
The harmonica player?
Can we do that next?
No, not that one. That was a cousin. God, people are listening to this and being like, I really can't construct the Musselwhite family tree correctly. Yeah, you definitely can't. If you are looking for me, you can find me at iHateTheScene on Instagram, TikTok, OnlyFans, Tumblr, Penguin Club, Pokemon card games, or maybe a back alley dice game because I'm trying to get my money up, son.
Yeah.
You can also find me at this terrible Twitter username right here. That is
Fuck you, Scott Briggs.
Okay, every week you tell me a new name, and it's never the right name. I'm pretty sure
Scott
the guy's name
Briggs.
is Michael.
It's Scott Briggs. He's got our tag and we need it back.
My Twitter name is iHateTE the scene. So that's 8, the number 8, iHateTE the scene. So follow me on Twitter, please. Any more followers? Tell your friends about me. Tell your little sister, because chances are I cover her favorite bands. Next week, we are having a massive fucking episode. I can't even stress to you how big it is. Crimson Apple, the Los Angeles Hawaiian K-pop superstars, are going to be joining us. We are super stoked for this. The girls are beautiful. They sing amazingly. They have super hot joints. They're going to be joining us for the entire hour, so look for that show. It's going to be fucking epic.
Love me some K-pop.
Dude, they're fire. Look them up. Crimson Apple, Break Your Heart Worse. It's on iTunes right now. Or just wait for me to drive by your neighborhood playing it really loud.
Whoop, whoop. You can go ahead and find me at of Bryan of Death, right? Oh, right down over here of Bryan of Death on Instagram.
I was going to say, no one asked where they could find you, Bryan.
Of Bryan of Death, Instagram and Twitter, and thecommonchaos.net for all your Common Chaos shit.
Shouts to 86 ounces in a duffel bag. Shouts to my homies in the UK, Huddersfield, Sam Calvin, Callum Richards, Razzle Dazzle. What's going on here? Shouts to my boys in Eyes of the Shadow, Drew and Vinny. Shouts to all our listeners. Derek Kendall, Amber Maelstrom. I saw Haley Renee Johnson in there. Xavier Hernandez, Becca
We got
Mainley.
Derek Kendall.
Derek Kendall. Shouts to all of you for sticking around through this
I'm a little
awesome
upset
show.
Vinny didn't join us tonight. What the fuck?
You know what? He's probably drunk or high or something stupid. This is why I have Tidal, which I got free with my phone plan, so I got you all beat. Okay, well, this podcast is not available on Tidal. Tidal is actually a terrible app to listen to music because so few artists are actually on it. But
Yeah,
you know
Amber, get
what?
with
If
it.
Tidal threw me 500,000, you damn right I'll drop this podcast on there to all 2 listeners.
What do you think about that Joe Rogan contract?
No, but that's for a
Joe
different-
Rogan,
it's for my podcast.
Yo, okay, yeah. So Bryan is the Tijuana version of Joe Rogan. If you need a cheaper version of Joe Rogan, holler at your boy.
Other way. There
That
you
guy.
go.
Yeah. Me personally, I think Joe Rogan is a gateway drug to white supremacy.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yep. Fuego
Now
take
we're
on
good.
that one. Yep. I don't support Joe Rogan. I don't support that Diaz feller he has on his show. I don't think you should have to suck dick to open for Joey Diaz.
I agree.
Hey, that is
Hot
true.
take on that one. Yeah.
That is
If you
true.
want to listen to a hot podcast, listen to me or Bodega Boys or Dan Levitard, but not Joe
Or Common
Rogan.
Chaos.
Or Common Chaos. If you want to listen to something half-ass smart from a guy without a fucking PhD, listen to Common Chaos.
Definitely don't have a PhD.
And if you're in a signed band and you have a shit ton of money to offer your guitar tech, hire my boy Austin Belanger, AB.
E.